Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. It's been a little while since I've been live, huh? Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it so much. I see a lot of people rolling in. I hope you were doing a little dance as well. I know you guys say dance. I say dance, right? But like, man, wasn't that a jam? Sings was like jamming. Thank you so much to all the mods who are here as well. I really appreciate you being here. Claire, you were one of the OGs that was here when I covered this case for the very first time. Do you remember it? It was snarky. It's a bit of a redo because Letecia Stauch is going on trial soon. And this lady, we're just going to start snarking up right away. This lady thinks, John Wayne Gacy, no, he can't get the insanity plea. Jeffrey Dahmer, nope. But Letecia Stauch, who considers herself a true crime, I think she can get pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Oh my word. Jenna says my first live. Oh my word. Hello. So, hello everyone and welcome. I just wanted to address one thing. There's some of you here in the chat, which I believe one was Melissa, saying that you contribute monthly. I'm not sure. I think it's you contribute monthly, right, to the Grizzly YouTube membership, because I got Patreon, which is completely separate, and YouTube, right? And I've seen that I also do not have my cool stickers when I'm on my phone. It seems to only be on a computer, so I'm not too sure. I would either contact YouTube support and report that, or send me an email, and then we can chat on there. You said, I knew it was going to be a snarky one today. Okay, so welcome everyone. I think, let me do a little recap of the case, okay? Because some of you don't know about the case. I saw one of you said you literally don't know about the case. This is not about a missing girl. This is about a step momster, and I didn't spell it wrong on my thumbnail. Momster, step momster, that's what I call her. Letecia Stauch, who murdered her 11-year-old stepson in 2020. And yes, Amy, in Colorado. Wow, Robert says, Leticia's a piece of work. They've been putting the trial off for 2 years. Exactly, oh my word. And the more they put off the trial, the more she comes up with insanity. I'm gonna plead plead not guilty by reason of insanity. And now they've got to give her 3 mental evaluations. And so her trial is set to start. It was supposed to start. There's a pretrial hearing on March 17th. Does that date sound familiar? Chazzy boy. Whoa, which one are we going to watch? What are we going to do? All of it. Teabag stuff. Very nice. Get the snark on. Just keep it Grizzly, but get the snark on. So, her pretrial hearing is on March 17th, and her trial is supposed to start on the 28th of March. But now, because she needs a 3rd mental evaluation, they've delayed it. The judge is worried. He's like, this is going to be another delay, and he's hoping for opening statements on April 4th. We're going to be here for it. To me, I've been so invested in this case that it actually feels like it's gone on forever. I'm actually so shocked that this happened in 2020 because I'm like, this feels like I've been in this for 10 years. Yeah, she's already had 2 evaluations. Exactly. She's already had 2 evaluations and she needs a 3rd. It just annoys me, you know. Good afternoon to Rochelle. So nice to see you, Rochelle Pronzo, in the house. Okay, so I'll be snarky right now just to let everyone know that if you are here for a clean cut, crisp, perfect video, this is not the video for you. Go and watch something else of mine, because some people, you'll be like, can you just stop chatting to everyone? No, this is the reason for being here. Chatting to everyone. I'm here for you guys. Okay, so what I wanted to show you, sorry, I've got I've got 3 screens, so I'm just looking, I've got maps on the one side, okay? I've got all my tools on the other side. I've got a freaking script on the side. I got everything tonight. Well, for you, it might be afternoon. I got everything today. For me, it's 9:06 p.m. And I hope you'll be on Wednesday too. Yes, it's my birthday stream. Oh, thank you. She wasn't insane when she thought she could represent herself. I know, right? And planning that entire trip. Wow, we're going to go over it. So, hello, JC's also in the house. All the mods are in the house. Okay. So, I want to show you this picture. So, for anyone who doesn't know about this case, this was 11-year-old Gannon Stauch. And he was, and I still unfortunately have to say the word allegedly. Okay, he was allegedly murdered on January 27th by his stepmother, Letecia Stauch. She was known as Letecia Harden. Now, new evidence that has come out to the public has revealed... Oh, wait. Trigger warning. This content is for adults only, okay? Mature audience only. So we're discussing a true crime case involving an 11-year-old boy, all right? Okay. So evidence has come out that she stabbed him 18 times and shot him. It's horrendous. And then she stuffed him in a suitcase, traveled 1,400 miles, and then discarded of him and thought she's going to get away with it. She even gave a media interview, not facing the camera, of course, which you saw in the trailer, if you were watching the trailer. And, man, rumor has it that she even had Gannon's body in the van in that interview. Now, today, we'll be here for hours upon hours if I went through the interview and everything. I've got a lot to go through, but maybe we can go through that another time. But that interview, wow. That's why I put some of it in the trailer, so you can at least just see a snippet of it. Now, the bullet found in Gannon's skull had been fired from the same 9mm gun that was found in the home with Letecia. These are just recaps, right? I'm just quickly going over the case. Joshua Tolini is Stauch's lawyer. Let me show you her. This is her. Oh, my word. Okay, she's facing a first-degree murder charge, as well as other ones that I can't really say because YouTube will already trigger this whole episode. My word. Tampering with a deceased person and tampering with physical evidence. They say the motive was that she was unhappy in her marriage and looking for an escape, but that's very hard. I don't know what her motive was. Honestly, she's just an absolute freaking monster in my mind. I don't know. It's hard for me. What do you think her motive was? She is pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Her next court date is set for March 28th with a pre-trial hearing on March 17th, but it could be postponed due to her third mental health evaluation, and these results are expected by March 31st. So you can see the trial is set for March 28th, but now the results will only be ready by March 31st. Well, let's hope they can hurry that along, right? And just be like, yeah, no, she's not insane. She knew what she was doing. She planned it all. Anyway, and so it's hopefully Judge Gregory Vadner. You guys would say Werner, right, in America, but we say Vadner. Judge Gregory Vadner said he's hoping for opening statements on April 4th. There'll be 16 jurors and 2 alternates expected, and people following the case worldwide are known as Gannon's Army. So we are part of Gannon's Army. We also want to fight for justice for Gannon Stauch because this case, oh my word, it just makes me so angry. So the charges that she's facing is first-degree murder after deliberation, first-degree murder of a person under 12 by someone in a position of trust. Can't say those words. Doing stuff to a child resulting in their death, tampering with a deceased human body, tampering with physical evidence, 7 counts of a crime of violence for using a weapon. Wow. 1 count of crime of violence causing severe bodily injury or death. And she's also accused of slipping out of handcuffs and attacking a deputy as she was transported to Colorado from South Carolina. Yes, Colorado, South Carolina. You hear the map time coming on? Following her arrest and plotting an escape from the El Paso County Jail. A separate criminal case is pending against her related to those incidents. Oh my word. You're like, look at that smile. What? Judge Van is a pretty tough judge, in my opinion. Oh my word, thank you so much, Rochelle. Link for Gisela's birthday episode. Thank you, that's so sweet. Yes, I hope to see you guys on Wednesday. It's nice to be live again. I haven't done this for quite some time. I really wanted to figure out the video editing thing, you know, and I figured it out now. So now I'm like, okay, now we can get back to doing what we were doing, right? We can be here together a little bit. I know it's nice to chat to you guys. The Pink Dolly says, you guys remember the letter she wrote to the judge? It was like a history paper. Yeah, I know, right? In fact, hold on. It was like a history paper. So here's the letter. That's what I'm saying. There's so much we can go through. Oh my word. Yeah, I can't miss that one. Can you guys see that? Is it clear for you? Look how she writes. She's like conflict hearing info. Okay. 2/21/21, Judge Vanner. Sorry, I'm going to have to bring this over, I think. Hold on. I'm just going to have to look over here for now. She says in fact, is it okay if I look to the side? Yeah, you can see it. Otherwise, I can move it to the middle and take myself off, but you might not like that. I was unable to talk with Judge Bain about my conflicts with my defense team due to 1, the actual privacy of the booth and transport over. I explained in detail to him expressing my concerns of privacy, like, whoa, entitled much, lady? 2, I had a very difficult morning mentally because I am not mentally well. One of the main issues with my attorneys is their lack of ability to gather evidence. Oh no, I think they've gathered, well, okay, her attorney. There's a lot of evidence against her. Due to this, I find little value in the term expert. Did anyone ask for her opinion in this? See, Aileen says, I miss your live streams. Well, I'm back. If she wrote like 2,000 crazy history papers, she might be onto something with insanity. Right? Let's see how many. This is 5 pages, so I'm not going to read this whole thing right now. We can get to it later, but look at this. Look at this. Communication is broken beyond repair. She just goes on and on and on complaining. This is a complaint letter. This is like writing to a manager of a hotel. Except, lady, you're on trial for the murder of a 11-year-old boy. Like, please. Wow. So, yes, there's that. Oh, my bad. I took myself off. Okay. Here we go. Stauch pronounced like ouch, not R sound. I don't think I said the R sound. Stauch. Stauch. From South Africa. I pronounce things a little differently sometimes. Grizzled, snarky. She goes into our whole constitution. It's so weird. Yeah. Karen in evil. Oh my word. Okay. So, would you like me to go over the case a little bit? Okay? I'm going to do that. And then what we're going to do is have a look at the affidavit. What do you say? I hope that you guys are enjoying the stream so far. Okay, so Gannon Stauch. You want me to say it like ouch? Stauch. Okay. Gannon Stauch was born on September 29th, 2008 in Loris, South Carolina, USA, to Albert, who's known as Al Stauch, and Landon Hyatt. He had one sister, Lena. He loved Taco Tuesdays, playing Nintendo Switch and making lots of jokes. He was a playful kid who had lots of friends in the neighborhood that he biked with or played video games with. His mom and dad got divorced. His dad married Letecia. And then Gannon moved to Colorado in 2018 to live with his dad and stepmother for a while. His mother, sister, and grandparents stayed in South Carolina. Okay, cool. Gregory says, please give background. So we're doing it. All right. Then, on January 27th, 2020, 11-year-old Gannon went missing, where he was last seen, I'm going to lose my voice now, where he was last seen on a neighbor's camera entering his home in the Lawson Ranch neighborhood. We're going to do map time later, okay? With his 38-year-old stepmonster, Letecia Stauch. She was a former assistant teacher. We looked at a horrible teacher earlier last week, actually, right? Now, this one was a former assistant teacher whose license was suspended in 2016 for unprofessional conduct. Okay, so the evening before, on the Sunday, she had actually messaged Gannon's teacher to say that he would need to be excused from school because he'd been up most of the night with stomach pain. Yeah, this is not a person who can plead not guilty by reason of insanity. This was planned. I just gotta have a sip of water. My voice, it wants to go here and there. Listen, boys, it's time to get snarky. So can you believe that the evening before, she messaged his teacher to say, by the way, he's not going to be able to attend school tomorrow. He's been up most of the night with stomach pain. She also sent a text to her husband to say that she was going to give her work an excuse. Now, wait for it. She said to her husband she's going to give her work an excuse to and just stay with him for the day, because he was so sick. Do you know what she told her work? Oh, can my voice just comply with me? It happened. It's because I'm out of practice for live streaming. It's like, whoa. Exactly. My voice has a huge job to do. Do you know what she told her husband she's going to tell her job? The excuse she was going to come up with was not like, oh, I didn't do my homework because the dog ate it. She said that she was going to say her stepdad was killed after being hit by a car and she wouldn't be able to come into work that day. What? Did you hear that? That was her excuse. I'm just going to call work and just say that my stepdad got hit by a car and he was killed, so I'm not going to be able to come in for the day. Like, whoa. Time for my sign language skills, exactly. Now, at approximately 8:15 on the morning of January 27, 2020, Letecia took photographs of Gannon asleep in his bed with his Nintendo Switch next to him. She then Googled, can Nintendo find my Switch? And that Nintendo Switch has never been found. She claimed that he had not returned after going to play video games with a friend and called 911 about it on the same day, where he was then logged as a juvenile runaway. She said that he left home between 3:15 and 4 p.m. and her stories just get more and more bizarre as we go along. She said he left between 3:15 and 4 p.m. to walk to a friend's house in Colorado Springs, even though she was never able to name that friend. Sounds a lot like Chris once, when he's like, oh yeah, they went on a play date. Yeah. Where? I don't know. Same thing. Same thing. Hello to Kathleen as well. All the mods in the house. Hello to everyone. So for anyone, I'm just watching. There's quite a few people still just rolling in. We are looking at the case of Gannon Stauch, an 11-year-old who was allegedly murdered by his stepmother. I want to say momster. In 2020, and she's going to be going on trial very, very soon. Hopefully opening statements by April 4th. Her court date was set actually for March 28th, but April 4th seems to be opening statement day, and we'll be here for it. Oh my word. The Pronzos are coming to my birthday party. I hope you're all coming. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you've just arrived, we're just going over the case. We did some little bullet points of what's going on, and we're just looking at this crazy story. Okay, so she says that Gannon, the 11-year-old stepson, left home between 3:15 and 4 p.m. to walk to a friend's house in Colorado Springs, even though she was never able to name that friend. On the same day that Gannon went missing, Letecia asked her teenage daughter, who I believe was 17 at the time, to go to the shop for her to pick up the following items. Now we're getting Chazzy vibes. Trash bags, baking soda, carpet cleaning supplies, and what we would all call crime scene cleanup stuff. She used Gannon's phone to text her own daughter at 10:37 that morning, and the text said, Tisha left phone at home. If you need her, text me. Big red flag, right? Hello, I see some OGs in the house. Lorraine, you are one of them. Claire, you're one of them. Who else is here? That was here for the first time that I ever covered this case. Do you guys remember? We said we need a thriller. Remember? Now we're getting a thriller. Okay, which is a trial. Inside joke. Okay, moving right along. So, the morning after Gannon's disappearance, Letecia drove her car, and we're going to do map time, remember, to the Colorado Springs airport and left it there. Because that's a normal thing to do, right? She then rented a car, a Kia Rio, picked up her husband, who had been out of town for 2 days for military training in Oklahoma, because he was on National Guard, and then returned home with him in the rented car. He must have had so many questions, don't you think? How many times can an accused ask for mental evaluation? I think 3. I really do think 3. Care Bear, Triller, exactly. Okay. Now, that night, she slipped out and went to get her own car, a Volkswagen. You guys say Volkswagen Tiguan. We say Volkswagen, okay? A Volkswagen Tiguan, where she drove to an area near Colorado 105 and South Perry Park Road in Douglas County. And now remember, this is the next day. And she went there 4 days later again to the same place, but we'll get there. Now, this is where police believe she initially dumped Gannon's body. Her phone was also put into airplane mode for most of the night. Sorry if I'm looking there the whole time, okay? I've got like my little points here. I don't want to miss a thing. Thank you. Okay, I'm like waving at everyone. Welcome. Oh, are you with me? Are you with me? Okay. So she drove to an area near Colorado 105 and South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, where police believe she initially dumped Gannon's body. Her phone was put into airplane mode for most of the night, which investigators found unusual. Her Tiguan, however, was fitted with a tracking device, which showed her whole adventure. It included a trip to Starbucks, a gas station, and lots of loops and turns in isolated areas. Took a night drive, did she? That night, she also used the Wi-Fi network from a massage parlor parking lot and searched for Amber Alerts and checked her own Ring doorbell camera video. Her phone stayed on airplane mode until January 29th. Be tender, hello. Why was he in Oklahoma if he was in the Colorado Guard? I thought they trained there with their own state. Well, look at the affidavit, but I do believe he was doing some kind of training out of state. I don't know exactly that answer, but he's in the clear. Okay, so. I say so a lot. When I edit my videos, do you know how many so I have to edit out? So many of them. I'm always like, why do I say so much? Okay, on January 29th, Letecia changed the whole story, telling police in an interview that she was 2 hours late for, that a man called Eduardo had entered the home, and I'm going to have to say these words. YouTube, I'm sorry, okay. Audience, I'm sorry, but it's just like, I can just imagine this woman. Let's put her face up again. So she said, Eduardo had entered the home and vaginally penetrated her without consent before taking a suitcase and Gannon with him. She could not explain why this perpetrator let her go and greet her daughter when she came home, nor what had happened. She claimed to have hit her head and blacked out more than once. Okay, then. The story gets even worse in the affidavit. When you think the story can't get worse, the stuff that she made up, and it can get worse. On January 30th, Gannon's disappearance became more concerning, and he was immediately classified as an endangered missing person. The FBI, the Colorado Springs Police Department, El Paso search and rescue teams, and more than 300 volunteers joined forces to search for Gannon in the mountainous area. Again, these criminals that waste all these searchers' time, the police resources and everything, when they know what they did, you know. Yeah, she has such evil, dark eyes, right? Trigger warning. Trigger warning. What? Exactly. Yes, Chazzy hit her head. Exactly. Okay. So, see, Gannon was a 5th grade student at the Grand Mountain School, and when his teachers and peers heard of his disappearance, they wore blue in his honor. So if you want to give some blue hearts over here right now, that would be amazing. That was his color. And they changed their light bulbs to blue as well to help Gannon find his way home. So blue was his favorite color. That's why they chose blue. A church vigil was held for Gannon, and the community prayed for his safe return. They searched for weeks, never giving up on finding him, as grim as the picture was starting to look. On February the 3rd, Letecia took to social media to rant about how people were pointing the finger at her, saying, I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home. I would never, ever hurt this child. Never, ever hurt this child, okay? Except she allegedly, murdered him. Thank you for the blue hearts. Yes, please do that. Okay, thank you. Right? She said, and I know there are some questions out there. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know, but I've cooperated with him. We're going to find Gannon, and that's the main goal that we all have. I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. See? It sounds like Chris Watts. It's just like, just wanted to come home and barrel rush me. Like, same. She's just like, I'm just ready for him to come home. She also complained about receiving more than 20 death threats and said that everyone will sincerely apologize to her once Gannon was found alive. Do you guys remember that? Oh my word. If you've never seen it, you should watch her interview. Not now, after this, or we can watch it later together. But like, you will sincerely apologize to me. That's what she said. On February the 4th, a neighbor, Roderick Drayton, came forward with video footage from his surveillance camera that showed Letecia leaving in a red pickup truck with Gannon on January 27th at 10:13 a.m. and then returning home with him at, well, it says without him at 2:19 p.m. But the police did say that they determined that Gannon absolutely was murdered inside the house. So he did return with her. But the footage didn't capture him getting out the car, which I find quite weird. He might have gotten out from the other side, or it might have been at a weird angle. That one I find quite strange. Mary says, who's Letecia? It's one of the poll options. Letecia Stauch. Stauch? I say Stauch. Stauch. I am in the Netherlands after all. Here they're going to say Stauch. Okay, so Letecia Stauch is a stepmother who murdered her 11-year-old, allegedly murdered her 11-year-old stepson in 2020. That's the case we're looking at, and the reason we're looking at it is because she's going to trial by the end of this month. Hopefully opening statements, as the judge said, on April 4th. The trial is set to start on March 28th. I'll recap again after I've read this, okay? Just for a second, and then we'll move on to the affidavit and some map time, or whichever one you guys vote for first. Okay, so let me just do this quickly. So the neighbor said that Gannon was walking very slowly towards the truck as if he was dragging his feet to go along with her. Like he really didn't want to go with her, right? When Gannon's father was shown the footage, he broke down completely and realized that Letecia had lied about everything. A wooden plank or board was found in the area where police believed that Gannon had initially been dumped. We'll look at the map time, which had his blood on it. They did DNA tests of blood found in the home on that board in her car. It all matched. Welcome to membership, Laura Lou. I'm glad you like it. In my opinion, Watson and Letecia are different in many ways. They can be different in many ways and same in many ways too, right? There are some similarities. And because we're true crimers, sometimes we draw similarities between cases. We can't help it. Okay, so then... Don't lose my place. Investigators had also placed a tracking device on a rental car that Letecia's aunt, Brenda Accord, had hired, and it showed that it drove an almost identical path to the one that Letecia drove on the night that she drove around. They were able to confirm that Letecia used this rental car between January 30th and February 1st. So not only did she go to that area twice, but she also used her aunt's car the second time to do that exact same loop. Like, wow. That's how they found the board with Gannon's blood on it. And I don't know if you were there when this case broke. Did you see it? Were you following? Because I was like, oh, my word, they found a board. Like what? But they couldn't find Gannon's remains. On February 1st, February 1st. So January 27th, this happens. February 1st. Letecia decided, you know what's a really good idea? I'm going to take a road trip with my daughter. Probably saying it's like, oh, this is just also stressful, right? With her daughter, Harley. So she rented a white van and then drove from Colorado to Pensacola, arriving on February 4th, just after midnight. Now, let me do this so that you can actually see this. This is the map, okay? Stop it. Okay, we're gonna go here. Can you guys see this properly? I mean, they lived over here. Colorado Springs Airport is here. This is where she initially allegedly dumped the remains. Returning home, went back there, looped around again. And then on February 1st, decided, you know what's a really great idea? This big road trip. This giant road trip. Look at this. See, now we draw similarities again. Reminding me of Brian Laundrie right here. The daughter was 17 years old at the time. They said she was a minor. She was born on the 1st of May, 2002. So she would have turned 18 in May of that year. JC, what's up with criminals and white vans? I mean, white van, and look at this journey that she took. Oh, my word. So on February 1st, she decided, you know, this is really great. I'm going to take a road trip, okay? So they went from Colorado to Pensacola, arriving on February 4th, just after midnight. And then they checked into a hotel that later turned out to be a whole 3 miles away. You can't even see my hand. 3 miles away, okay? From the spot where Gannon's body was found. And you want to tell me this lady's not guilty? Okay. They traveled to Orlando and then to South Carolina, where Gannon was initially from. On February the 5th, Gannon's father and biological mother gave a media appearance to Plea for any information about their missing son, and that was authentic. You know when it's these ones that are pretending in front of the media and they're really trying to show whatever emotion they think they should have, but it just doesn't come across that way? Yes. Well, that's what happened. But Gannon's father and biological mother, they had the appropriate emotions and the proper plea and everything that one might expect, of course, from your missing son. His younger sister, Lena, was also on camera. Well, Harley's date of birth is 1st of May 2002. Okay, why do criminals use white vans? A white van's easier to clean for fingerprints, and make sure you got it clean. Right? Oh my word. So now, I'm almost done with my little rerun. Welcome to everyone who's just joining now. We are discussing the case of Gannon Stauch, and Letecia, who is going to be on trial very soon. It should have been on March 28th. The judge says there should be opening statements expected on April 4th, so we'll be looking out for that. She's pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Yeah, that's like notoriously difficult to plead insanity to get that. Can you imagine if she gets that? I'll be so shocked, my word. But I don't know. I must look at your poll results because I just don't think there's any chance of that. On March the 3rd, Letecia Stauch was arrested and held without bond in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where she'd been hiding out before she was transferred to Colorado Springs. There was no sign of Gannon, but police had so much evidence to pin his murder on her that they charged her with first-degree murder of a child under 12 by a person in a position of trust. And then all the other stuff that I mentioned earlier, which are big trigger words. Okay, Embossed was asking if I speak Dutch or Afrikaans. Afrikaans is a derivative of Dutch, so I speak Afrikaans, and it helps me with the Dutch. Does that make sense? Okay. So then, I must focus. I get distracted here, sorry. Just went to Myrtle Beach last summer. For anyone, Jitterbug, you say good afternoon and hello everyone. I didn't hear, so I'll be paying attention. Okay, we'll recap this bullet points after this, and then if you want to go back and hear the whole story, then you can do that anytime, right? And we're going to be looking at the affidavit, so you'll get the gist of the story there too. So yeah, she was arrested on March the 3rd and charged with all those things. Police believed that, well, now they do, right? Letecia murdered Gannon in his bedroom. They found blood spatter on the walls with bloodstains on the carpet, the bedroom floor, and the mattress. And yeah, I'm not going to say the rest of the details for now. They also found traces of Gannon's blood in the garage and on the bumper of her car. On March 20th, 2020, Gannon's body was found in a suitcase in Pace, Florida, near the Escambia River Bridge. So here we go. So they booked into a hotel in Pensacola, and Gannon's remains were found in a suitcase. It's just horrible. It's honestly so horrible. Here near Escambia River Bridge, which is 1,400 miles. It's 2,200 kilometers away from home. He was 4'9", 149 centimeters, and weighed 90 pounds, 40.8 kilograms. The suitcase, which had appeared to have been thrown off a bridge, was discovered by bridge inspectors with the Florida Department of Transportation. They saw the body of a child wrapped in a blanket. Sorry, this is very difficult for me too, for you too. Trigger warning. Of a child wrapped in a blanket in fetal position, and said that the body had badly decomposed. Sadly, DNA evidence confirmed that it was the body of Gannon. Cause of death was determined to be a gunshot wound to the head and blunt force trauma, but it's later come out that he was stabbed 18 times as well. Wow. He had a skull fracture, cuts on his arms and hands, which were defense wounds. and then the bullet matched the gun that was found in the home, 9mm. Okay. Wow. On the day that Gannon disappeared, police said that the back door of the home opened 10 times during the time period that they confirmed that Gannon was murdered. Letecia also had a lovely Google search history, which we'll go over in the affidavit, which alluded to her being unhappy with Al and wanting to free herself from his kids. So even though the video footage doesn't show Gannon returning home after getting in the truck with Letecia, investigators are certain that he did return home with her, where he was then murdered in his bedroom based on the evidence. Investigators also said that Letecia had a significant history of fabricating things. Okay, so I'm just going to take this off for a second. How are you all doing? Are you doing okay? Now, for everyone who just joined, I'm just going to give one more quick overview. 11-year-old Gannon Stauch was allegedly murdered on January 27th by his stepmother, Letecia Stauch. Letecia Harden was her maiden name. She stabbed him 18 times and shot him, then stuffed him in a suitcase and traveled 1,400 miles to discard of him. She gave a media interview not facing the camera, and rumor has it that she had Gannon's body in the van at the interview. The bullet found in Gannon's skull had been fired from the 9mm gun that was found at the home with Letecia. Joshua Tolini is her lawyer. She's facing a first degree murder charge, amongst others, of course, tampering with a deceased person and tampering with physical evidence. Her motive, I don't know what her motive is. People have speculated from the documents I've seen that she was unhappy in her marriage and looking for an escape. She is pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Her next court date is on March 28th, with a pre-trial hearing on March 17th. That's the same day that Chazzy Boy, he's being sentenced on the 17th or 18th, unrelated case. I'm just saying, we've got to look out for all these things. We've got a very full true crime calendar, my goodness. But this could be postponed due to her third mental health evaluation, because now she's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. So she's going for a third mental health check, and these results are expected by March 31st. Judge Gregory Vanner said he's hoping for opening statements on April 4th. There'll be 16 jurors and 2 alternates expected. People following the case worldwide are known as Gannon's Army, so that includes us. Gannon's favorite color was blue, so if you want to drop some blue hearts during this chat, please feel free to do that. She's facing many charges, including first-degree murder of a person under 12 by someone in a position of trust, and a whole bunch of other things, of course, tampering with everything afterwards. Okay, so now let me just have a look at some of your messages, because I've definitely missed out on some of those. I'm going to close this document for a second. Let me do it like this. All right. I'm quickly going to have a commercial break, and then I'll be back. I just want to see if I missed anything very important in the messages, but thank you so much for all the chats. Thank you for being here. Next up, we will look at the affidavit, okay? Welcome to Grizzly True Crime, established June 2021. Thank you for watching. Viewing Grizzly videos is a great source of support, and it's free. 100% free ways to support Grizzly True Crime. Like the video, subscribe, and share. Other fantastic ways to support the channel are by becoming a member. All you gotta do is click the join button. During a live stream or premiere, you can buy a super chat or super sticker by clicking that button right there. The most direct way to support the channel is on PayPal, link below. Join the Grizzly Patreon community and get exclusive perks. You can get ebooks, audiobooks, paperbacks, and collectible notebooks or journals on Amazon. Or you can buy me a coffee.com/Gisela K. I do love coffee. Get yourself some Grizzly merch, and if you do, remember to tag me on social media. Follow me on Twitter at Grizzly Gisela, Instagram or TikTok Grizzly True Crime. See you there. Thank you for watching, and now let's get back to the video. Okay, and I'm back with you, and we've got the affidavit here. Jealousy, her motive. Rot in hell, Letecia. I don't blame you for saying that. Thank you so much. My birthday is on Wednesday. I hope you guys will join me for that stream. That will be a lot of fun as well. But we'll talk true crime. You know, we're going to talk true crime. You can ask me questions. Whew, okay. So can you see this affidavit clearly enough? If I missed any of your questions, please just ask it again. Hopefully, oh man, hopefully some of the mods can also answer if they do know the answers. Or mods, if you just, if you tag the person and just say, like, put it in bold or something so I can see it, if it's something that I absolutely should have not missed. But later I'll go over the chat again and just see what have I missed out on. It's going very fast. I'm so grateful to have you guys here. Thank you for being here. If you are just joining us now, welcome to the stream. Welcome to Grizzly True Crime. We are talking today about the case of Gannon Stauch, who was allegedly murdered by his stepmother. I can't wait till we could say what we want to say. By his momster in 2020, in January 2020. Will there be coffee and cake? Maybe. It'll be quite late for me. It's evening time, so I don't have coffee. I'll be awake a lot. I'll be working for the birthday stream. That's okay. You can maybe watch the replay or just pop in and give it a thumbs up and say hi. Thank you. Okay. A little small and blurry. How are you guys? Can everyone see this or no? Because I can't really make it much bigger. That's the problem. See, I can do... How's that? And then... Hold on. Okay, so here we're looking at this. It's 32 pages, huh? But this is really great to learn the entire timeline. You can read on a big screen. Okay, the following affidavit is submitted to the court to document the probable cause in support of a request for the issuance of an arrest warrant for Letecia Stauch, date of birth 08/04/1983. This offense is fully documented in El Paso County Sheriff's Office Report 20-1382, detailing the offense listed below in paragraph 2. Just read it to us. We'll be quiet. Okay, is it better? Huge, but readable. Okay, that's the best I can do. I mean, this is the quality I got. It's literally I cannot do anything else. All I could do is maybe you could just look at the affidavit and read it along on your own browser if you want to. Keep me on. You can hear me read it. But if you have a copy of it yourself, that could be cool too. Okay. Wait. Do I miss a sentence? Yeah. With the victims identified as Stauch Gannon, 0929-2008, race, white, gender, male. 1. Your affiant is Jessica Bethel, a duly sworn and state-certified police officer and detective with El Paso County Sheriff's Office, EPSO, who has been employed as such since 2010. Your affiant, is it affiant? Affiant, okay. Has participated in other law enforcement investigations, including homicide investigations, can't say those words, child, you know what, weapons violations, can't say the next word either. Oh my word. YouTube doesn't like those words, okay, at all. They'll be like, shut the stream down. Okay, I know, some of you complain, it's so ridiculous to freaking censor everything. We know, but it's how it works. Okay, so, and other violations of Colorado revised statutes. I'm familiar with social media networks and electronic methods of communication. I'll read it slower when we get to very important parts, but we want to get through this too. I have attended a 1-week crime scene analysis training course through the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. I've also relied on other investigators from outside agencies with more investigative training and experience, including, but not limited to, the FBI, Special Agent Andrew Cohen, and FBI Special Agent David Donati. Your affiant submits the following facts to demonstrate probable cause to believe that on or about January 27, 2020, in the county of El Paso, in the state of Colorado, the defendant, Letecia Stauch, also known as AKA Letecia Harden, did commit the following offenses, herein referred to as the violations. So you can read along with me if there's words that I can't say. Murder in the first degree, we can see that. Child under 12, position of trust. Then child with the A word resulting in death. Tampering with a deceased human body. Tampering with physical evidence. 3. The affidavit is being submitted to support the issuance for an arrest warrant for the violations. We're going through this so that we can get to the timeline, right? It's very interesting. The facts in this affidavit come from my personal observations, my training experience, and information obtained from other agents, law enforcement officials, and witnesses. The contents of this affidavit were derived by reading reports, viewing evidence, and as provided to me by other EPSO investigators and special agents of the FBI. Much of this affidavit was prepared by FBI Special Agent Cohen. See, we're going overtime every time. Who's excited for overtime? Okay. Much of this affidavit was prepared by FBI Special Agent Cohen, but I have reviewed the below facts carefully and have no reason to doubt any investigator's accuracy or truthfulness in their reports. This affidavit is intended to show merely that there is sufficient probable cause for the requested warrant and does not set forth all of my knowledge about this matter. In summary, and as will be set forth below, probable cause exists to issue an arrest warrant for Letecia Stauch for the violations. The vast array of investigative techniques in this investigation has produced a voluminous amount of evidence in support of the requested warrant. Ooh, Robert, you had me here at Swedish fish. Hold on. Swedish fish. Everything goes with Swedish fish. I know, right? Okay, focus. Not you, me. I'm like, focus. I just like glance and I'm like, Swedish fish? Okay. Has she appeared in court? She's going to appear in court for her pre-trial hearing on March 17th, and then her court date was set for March 28th, but it's likely being postponed to April 4th. Oh, Terry says, this is my first live stream and I love your content. Oh, well, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so we go to number 5, right? Much of this affidavit was prepared by FBI Special Agent Cohen, but I've reviewed the below facts carefully and have no reason to doubt any investigator's accuracy or truthfulness in their reports. This affidavit is intended to show merely that there is sufficient probable cause for the requested warrant and does not set forth all of my knowledge about this matter. So we just recap that. In summary, as will be set forth below, probable cause exists to issue an arrest warrant for Letecia Stauch for the violations. The vast array of investigative techniques in this investigation has produced a voluminous amount of evidence in support of the requested warrant. Investigators have executed physical search warrants and collected evidence from vehicles associated with Letecia, cellular devices utilized by Letecia, and wait till you see what she Googled, and from the residence of Letecia. Electronic search warrants have been executed to entities including, but not limited to, Facebook, Apple Incorporated, Google Incorporated, AT&T, Wireless, Verizon Wireless, ADT Security System, Tile, Life360, Yahoo, and Ring doorbell service. Some of the physical evidence has been examined by a laboratory for DNA profiles. Investigators also recovered a significant amount of exterior video footage from individual privately owned neighborhood security cameras, businesses around Colorado Springs, Colorado, and cameras in other surrounding areas. Some cameras provided recorded footage of the exterior of the Stauch residence. Historical cellular records and historical cell site details were analyzed and, then they scratched that out, some but not all of the available photos and other evidence collected from the aforementioned search warrants and other investigative steps are included below and are not meant to represent all the evidence available. Furthermore, there has been no intentional exclusion of photos that could be deemed, that is quite a word, exculpatory in nature. Exculpatory. The information contained in this affidavit can be found in the EPSO case report number 201382. Facts in support of probable cause. The Stauch family and general information. The Stauch family is a blended family and all will be discussed at various points below. This representation purposely has little details in order to give an overview of the family structure. Father, Eugene L. Stauch. Stepmother, Letecia Stauch. I know I say it different every time. Trying here. Stauch. Daughter, Harley Hunt, minor, 17 years of age. So there it is in writing, by blood to Letecia, not L. Son, Gannon Stauch, minor, 11 years of age, by blood to L, not Letecia. Daughter, Lena Stauch, minor, 8 years of age, by blood to L and not Letecia. The following vehicles will be discussed at various points below. A red, now you guys say Nissan, don't you? We say Nissan. A red Nissan Frontier. When I say we, I mean South Africans. South Africans. Probably British as well, actually. A red Nissan Frontier, Mr. Stauch's main vehicle. A black Volkswagen Tiguan, Letecia's main vehicle. A white Volkswagen Jetta, Harley's main vehicle. A silver Nissan Altima. a rental car obtained by Letecia's aunt, Brenda, a card, and utilized by Letecia. So she even set her aunt up from January 30th to February 1st, 2020, after her Tiguan was seized by EPSO on January 29, 2020. A white Kia Rio, a rental car obtained and utilized by Letecia on January 28th to 29th, 2020. She appears to be working a mistrial. Oh, man. Oh, no. She better not. Okay. Background of those mentioned in this affidavit. Letecia Stauch, aka Letecia Harden, date of birth 08/04/1983, is the last person known to investigators to see 11-year-old Gannon Stauch, date of birth 09/29/2008, alive. Letecia is Gannon's stepmother and was Gannon's only known adult supervision in the days preceding and on the day of his murder. At the time of Gannon's murder, Letecia was employed by School District 20 as an assistant teacher, although I've also learned that she's no longer employed there. I was able to locate prior criminal history for Letecia and learned that in North Carolina, Robeson County Court Case 2001 CRS 01193, Letecia was convicted after a trial for communicating threats, a misdemeanor, but I was not able to locate her sentencing information. Letecia was also convicted of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle in a Robeson County Court Case 2001 CRO 14645 and was sentenced to 45 days confinement and 18 months of probation. Although not criminal in nature, I was able to locate a document memorializing the suspension of Letecia's North Carolina teaching certificate number 261777 on or about May 11, 2016. As part of that document, it's reported that Letecia had filed unsubstantiated claims of harassment and retaliation, so it seems like she always plays the victim card, huh? And the North Carolina State Board found that Mrs. Stauch breached her contract by engaging in unprofessional conduct, willfully neglecting her duty, and failing to comply with the provisions of her contract. Okay. Letecia's criminal history is only included by way of background for the court, and because Letecia has been convicted of previous crimes, it is not meant to indicate guilt of the violations or to be considered as the sole basis of probable cause for the requested warrant. Right. Okay. Now, Eugene Albert Stauch, aka Al Stauch, date of birth 09/20/1982, is Gannon's biological father and is married to Letecia. Mr. Stauch was deployed with the National Guard during the dates of January 25th, 2020 to January 28th, 2020. Mr. Stauch spent the night in Denver on January 25th, 2020 and departed via commercial airline on January 26th, 2020, returning via commercial airline on January 28th, 2020. Investigators were able to corroborate this information, and Mr. Stauch had cooperated fully in the below investigation. Summary of a multi-agency missing person investigation in Colorado. Welcome everyone who's arriving now. I think you can see by the title what we're discussing. We are looking at the case of Gannon Stauch, an 11-year-old boy allegedly murdered by his stepmother, Letecia Stauch. Horrible woman who should be on trial at the end of March or seemingly by the latest on April 4th. That's when we're expecting opening statements. So we're very excited to see that. She's pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, and we're hoping to see her not win that at all and go to jail or prison for a very, very long time. Of note that in some portions of this affidavit, depending on the date of events being discussed, the investigation may be referred to as a missing person investigation or a murder investigation. For the purposes of this affidavit, they are indeed one and the same. So remember, they hadn't yet, I believe at this point, missing person, they hadn't found Gannon at this point, but this is the probable cause arrest affidavit, and the reason we're going over it is it shows a very detailed timeline as well as her Google search history, which that alone is very, very interesting. Don't want to miss anything. Hold on. Okay. The subsequent information primarily surrounds the period of Monday, January 27, 2020 to Wednesday, January 29, 2020. Investigators have taken independent steps to corroborate information received throughout the investigation and in most circumstances have video footage, cellular communication, and location records, security system records, or other records to support the below claims. This summary section is only meant to give the court an overview of the investigation, and the facts supporting the summary will be articulated below. On January 27, 2020, at or about 18:55 hours, Letecia Stauch reported Gannon missing after calling 911. During that call, she was instructed to call the El Paso County non-emergency line. In summary, Letecia stated Gannon was supposed to be home approximately 1 hour ago and that she was unable to locate him at his friend's house. Her story dramatically changed multiple times over the following days. As will be discussed below, investigators do not believe Letecia went to any neighboring houses to attempt to locate Gannon, and was one of many lies told by Letecia during the investigation. Letecia was unable to provide the actual location of the home she went to, the names of Gannon's friends that he was supposed to be playing with, or the names of the parents of Gannon's friends. Deputies responded to Letecia's residence at 6627 Mandan Drive, that was on the map as well, Colorado Springs, Colorado, and were unable to locate Gannon. Deputies conducted a limited search of the residence and took a report from Letecia. Some of the interactions between the responding deputies and Letecia were captured on body-worn camera. A missing person investigation was initiated, and in the coming days developed into a murder investigation. You see, a tip line was established and investigators received hundreds of tips and leads from the public by virtue of emails and telephone calls. As part of this tip line, and now this is horrible because look what people do. As part of this tip line, 2 ransom notes were received by email demanding money in the form of Bitcoin in exchange for Gannon's return. Investigators took steps to validate these ransom notes, so of course wasting their time. I mean, these people are wasting the police's time by doing this nonsense. Oh, it's just sickening that they also step in like, ooh, time to scam. Seriously, read the room. Including resolving and geolocating the internet protocol, the IP addresses from the email headers, and requesting subscriber information from the ISPs, the internet service providers that hosted those IP addresses. One of these ransom notes was sent from a foreign-based email account that is accessible by multiple individuals. Investigators were unable to trace the user of the IP addresses and believe the ransom notes to be fraudulent and strictly designed as a scheme to receive money. Scamsters, I'm telling you. Welcome everyone who's joining now. Letecia is a horrible stepmother who allegedly murdered her 11-year-old stepson in January 2020, and she'll be on trial very, very soon, hopefully by April the 4th of this year now. So it's coming up in the next few weeks, and we're going to be making sure that we know. I don't know if we'll watch the trial. I don't know if it's going to be live. Sometimes they're not, But if we can watch it, we're going to cover it. And if we can't watch it, we're going to cover the story in any case. Because to me, I feel like I've been invested in this case for the longest time. I'm actually so shocked that this happened in 2020. Wow. Because it feels like years that, because it just feels like that when you're so invested in a case, right? Okay, so moving right along. Letecia initially claimed that she last saw Gannon on January 27, 2020, when she left their residence to play with his friends somewhere around 1500 hours, so 3:15 in the afternoon. Based on the facts outlined below and Letecia's statement to an EPSO dispatcher, Letecia is the last person that ever saw Gannon alive. She stated that she attempted to find him at a neighbor's house and sent her daughter, Harley Hunt, date of birth 05/01/2002, to look for Gannon at a park. Letecia lied to investigators on multiple occasions, has unexplained abnormal behavior such as obtaining a rental car, disconnecting her cell phone from cellular network for an extended period of time, the false reporting of an alleged essay, abnormal patterns of travel. Yes, she threw essay in there as well. Wait for it. Abnormal patterns of travel, a continuously evolving story with material changes in facts and circumstances, and has since left the state of Colorado. These actions, when combined with other facts in this affidavit, support the totality of probable cause for the requested warrant and will be discussed below. The murder of Gannon Stauch. The following section will outline what investigators have learned about Letecia's activity on January 27, 2020, and outline the period when Gannon was likely murdered. Some of the information contained in this section will be repeated in other portions of this affidavit or discussed later in more detail. Additionally, there are evidence sources that are mentioned here but not fully defined in other sections. Investigators believe that Gannon was murdered by Letecia Stauch in the afternoon hours after approximately 1400 hours, so 2:14 in the afternoon, on January 27th, 2020, at his residence, and more specifically in his bedroom. Physical evidence recovered from the residence and inside Gannon's bedroom supports that a violent event occurred in his bedroom, which caused bloodshed, including blood spatter on the walls and enough blood loss to stain his mattress, soak through the carpet and the carpet pad, and stain the concrete below his bed. Some photographs of this evidence are included below. Based on the evidence recovered from the residence, Gannon's remains were eventually brought through the house into the garage and likely loaded into the back of Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan. After cleaning the murder scene, Letecia utilized the Tiguan to transport and dump Gannon's remains on the evening of January 28, 2020. Letecia likely disposed of his remains off Highway 105, South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. Indeed, the Metro Crime Laboratory determined that blood discovered in Gannon's bedroom, the Stauch's garage, and blood on a piece of particle board located off Highway 105, South Perry Park Road, all matched his DNA profile. I'm just trying to see. Are you guys okay? Okay. Right. Just checking everyone's fine. If the chat's too fast, let me know. Yeah, so much that it went through the carpet and the padding and was on the concrete that was below the carpet. Can you believe it? Oh my word. Whew, okay. On Monday, January 27, 2020, Gannon Stauch stayed home from school. Based on text messages from Letecia to Mr. Stauch, Gannon was up most of Sunday evening with a stomach problem, which I can just imagine she caused. Letecia did tell Gannon's school, Grand Mountain Elementary, that Gannon would be absent on Monday. Investigators were able to verify that Gannon was marked as an excused absence that day. Letecia also told Elle that I'm just going to give him an excuse at work and stay with him. Indeed, Letecia did come up with an excuse, and she told her employer via text message at or about 4:37 hours that her stepdad, so she did actually use that excuse that we talked about earlier. She actually used that excuse to say, oh, my stepdad was killed after being hit by a car, so I'm not able to come into work this day. Okay, like, wow. Yes, it's very difficult to lie and tell the same story. Exactly, Robert, oh my word. Other electronic evidence, such as time and date stamped photographs and videos, were recovered from Letecia's cellular telephone that indicate Gannon was likely still alive during the morning of January 27, 2020. As displayed in paragraph 54 below, which we'll get to, images were taken on Letecia's cell phone at or about 8:13 and 8:17 hours on the morning of January 27, 2020. This is just so crazy, showing Gannon sleeping in his bed. Why did she do that? Of particular note, his Nintendo Switch, a small video game console, is visible in the photo lying next to him on the bed. Mr. Stauch said that this gaming system was of high importance to Gannon. To date, investigators have been unable to locate the Nintendo Switch. It should also be noted that Letecia used her phone the following day, January 28, 2020, at or about 12:57 hours to conduct a Google search. Can Nintendo find my Switch? This is also detailed in a list of some of her search history in paragraph 141 and reasonably occurred because she was contemplating how she would dispose of the Switch. I conducted a Google search for the term "Can Nintendo find my Switch?" and learned that the Switch does not come with any sort of tracking ability. As such, Letecia likely felt it was safe to dispose of the Switch and used the missing Switch to help deceive law enforcement into searching for Gannon as a possible runaway. Oh my word. Wow. Ultimately, investigators located video surveillance from a neighbor's surveillance camera that showed what investigators believed to be Letecia and an individual that appeared to match Gannon's physical description depart their residence in the Nissan Frontier at or about 1600 hours on January 27, 2020. The video camera is several homes away and does not provide images clear enough to make positive identifications of those captured in the recording. So that's also why they couldn't see him actually coming back, but they've determined he did come back based on the evidence. The vehicle returned at or about 19 hours, and Letecia exited the vehicle. After viewing the video, I cannot be sure if another person exited the vehicle or not, but I submit Gannon likely did return home with Letecia that afternoon. These times, corroborated by data collected from the ADT security system installed into the Stauch's residence, are discussed below in more detail. Based on data returned from the Stauch's ADT security system, the motion detectors in the living room or basement did not register any activity from approximately 10-12 hours until Letecia and Gannon entered the home at approximately 14-22 hours. There you go, Melissa. Welcome. Okay. Until 14-22 hours. Investigators confirmed Lena to be at school and confirmed that Harley was at work. As such, investigators believe there was likely nobody else in the residence except Letecia and Gannon. Letecia's historical cell site information, detailed information about her iPhone status, and a text message sent to Harley from Gannon's cell phone support that Letecia left her cell phone at the Stauch residence on the morning of January 27, 2020. The fact that Letecia left her phone at home is suspicious on its own, based on her history of extensive use of her phone. I have reviewed forensic search records from Letecia's phone and found she's an active user of social media, including but not limited to Facebook and Instagram. A more detailed review of Letecia's iPhone screen time log between January 25th, 2020 at 800 hours and January 29th, 2020 at 1100 hours revealed that Letecia spent approximately 38,607 seconds on Facebook and Facebook Messenger alone, which equates to approximately 10.7 hours of cumulative time over those few days. Whoa. Letecia's telephone was locked at or about 9:56 hours on January 27, 2020, and unlocked at 14:45 on the same day. The timing of the unlocking of the device is significant as compared to her departure and arrival to or from the residence, and should be noted by the court. Particularly, Letecia did not open her phone for approximately 30 minutes after she arrived back to the residence. On January 27, 2020, there was a message sent from Gannon's phone to Harley's phone that reads, "Tisha left phone at home. If you need her, text me." This message was sent at or about 10:37 hours. Investigators were able to confirm, based on video surveillance footage and purchase receipts, that Letecia traveled to Petco, located at 5020 North Nevada Avenue, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Now, this Petco is approximately 22 miles from the residence and is an approximate 30-minute drive based on Google Maps directions. The receipt shows that Letecia completed her purchase at 11:22 hours. Gannon is not visible on any of the surveillance video obtained at Petco. Letecia's whereabouts are unknown. I'm saying it like this because she went back there. Okay, so her whereabouts are unknown between 11:22 and 13:22, and at 13:22 hours, she was again captured on video surveillance making a second purchase at the same Petco on North Nevada Avenue. Mr. Stauch sent a text message to Gannon's cell phone at or about 12:06 hours that read, "Hey buddy." This message was unanswered until 13:21. The response was, "Can I play Zelda at least?" Mr. Stauch replied, "Not today." That's sad, given the circumstance. I mean, he didn't know. I'm just like, oh. A significant event occurred on Gannon's phone at or about 13:43 hours, which is prior to arriving back at the Stauch residence. There was an internet search for, "Can my parent find my cell phone if it's off?" Yes, because an 11-year-old is going to search that. Oh, Letecia, my word. I submit that this internet search was likely conducted by Letecia on Gannon's phone, and not Gannon himself, based upon the content of the search, the way the search terms are phrased, and the presence of a full stop in between the phone and if. This is very similar to the way Letecia conducted searches on her phone. However, I located other internet searches with a full stop in Gannon's search history, which I also reasonably believe were conducted by Letecia. A more detailed explanation of Letecia's search history is included below in paragraph 141. Yeah, I really don't hate, but this woman. Okay, I just want to show you for a second this again. That's pretty zoomed in now. Hold on. No, Escambia. We want to go here. We're driving there real quick now. Hold on. Okay, so here's the... I like to use the layers. Yes. Okay, so the home is here. Okay, 6627 Mandan Drive. And then she drove all the way. Wait, not there. Where's this Petco? North Nevada. I've got it here. Here. Here is the Petco. And she went there twice. Oh my word. She went there twice. Can you believe it? Okay, so moving on. I just wanted to show you that. Map time. Just so you can see. Furthermore, the search term was parent singular. I submit it is reasonable that Mr. Stauch only, not Letecia, would be interested in the location of Gannon's phone, and that Letecia was possibly deliberating on how or if she would dispose of Gannon's phone after she murdered him. I conducted the Google search of can my parent find my cell phone if it's off, and learned that the first answer returned in the search engine reads, the answer to your question depends on what method is being used to track your location. Gannon's phone was found at the residence. I submit that Letecia did not get rid of Gannon's phone for fear it might be traceable. Yeah, apparently, I see there's some questions about the daughter who was 17 at the time. Apparently, yes, I think she just did as she was told. I mean, can you imagine what Letecia was like in general? Sounds like quite a scary mom to have, in my opinion. But, you know, sorry, I'm getting distracted here. So the thing is, people question, is the daughter involved at all? But she like literally just did as she was told. She didn't know what she was getting into. I think, wow, the feeling of betrayal must be massive now, right? Okay. The Nissan Frontier returned to the Stauch residence at or about 14:20 hours. A search warrant authorized by this court was executed on the Nissan Frontier and found no indications of blood inside the vehicle. Letecia had been without her cell phone for hours, yet her screen was not unlocked until approximately 14:45 hours, which was 25 minutes after arriving back at the residence. During that 25-minute period, there is motion activity both upstairs and downstairs on the ADT records. Lena returned home from school. Remember, she was 8 years old, from around 15 hours. During a recorded forensic interview with investigators, Lena stated that when she returned home, Letecia told her that Gannon was asleep in her bed and that she could not see him. Letecia told Lena to go outside and play. I submit that Lena was sent outside because Gannon was likely dead and Letecia was cleaning up blood from inside the house. That is so scary. Oh my word. Yes, please send blue hearts for Gannon. We are Gannon's army. We are part of Gannon's army. Whew. Okay. Sorry, I just like look and then I'm like, what? Just need to like, just take it all in myself. I've read this a few times, but I'm like, wow, it's just the things she did and just thinking of that little girl coming home and she's like, go outside, go play. You can't see your brother now. It's just so scary. Oh my goodness. At or about 15:55 hours, Mr. Stauch had sent another message to Gannon's phone. Hey, buddy, this message was not read until 1940 hours. It's likely that Gannon was already murdered by Letecia at the time that he sent this message. Based on exterior video footage, Harley arrived at the residence in a white VW Jetta at or about 16:42 hours and picked up Lena. At or about 16:52 hours on January 27, 2020, Letecia sent a text message to Harley requesting carpet cleaner, trash bags, and baking soda. These items were likely used to clean up a murder scene. Harley purchased these items, and investigators located a receipt documenting the purchase. Harley Hunt has refused to speak with investigators. Investigators do not believe that Harley was present when Gannon was killed. Harley was at work on January 27, 2020, from 8:30 to 16:15 hours, till 4:15 in the afternoon, and investigators were able to verify this with her employer. To be clear, investigators have not located any evidence that any person other than Lena and Letecia had access to Gannon between approximately 1000 hours and 17:34 hours on January 27, 2020. Thank you. Yes, send all the blue hearts for Gannon, for justice for Gannon. We really want justice for Gannon. That's why this trial, my word, I hope it's maximum justice for Gannon. Statements and images captured on body camera on January 27th, 2020. Your affiant has reviewed body-worn cameras, BWC footage, and reports obtained from a deputy that responded to 6627 Mandan Drive, the residence of the Stauch family. After responding, Letecia provided verbal consent for deputies to search the house for Gannon. By the way of the timeline, EPSO patrol responded at or about 22:09 hours, approximately 3 hours after she initially called 911. From the body-worn cameras, BWC, I learned the Volkswagen Tiguan, known to be leased and utilized by Letecia, was backed into the garage when EPSO was at the residence. The position of the Tiguan in the garage is significant, specifically because of the confirmed presence of Gannon's blood in the garage below the area where the rear hatch of the Tiguan would be, and the positive reaction of blue star regent, indicating likely presence of blood on the Tiguan's rear bumper. Responding deputies also searched in Gannon's basement bedroom, and I viewed images of Gannon's bedroom taken from the body-worn camera. Below I've included a body-worn camera image of Gannon's bedroom. Just know that it's not like major trigger warning because the images are not very clear over here. They're black and white, can't see much, it's very dark. So don't feel too afraid or shocked, okay? We're going to be okay. So, I've included a body-worn camera image of Gannon's bedroom on the left. On the right, an image recovered from Letecia's cell phone after executing a search warrant that was applied for and granted by this court. These images both represent the condition of Gannon's bedroom on January 27, 2020, at or about 8:13 hours and just after 2200 hours. This photo comparison is significant for many reasons, and the corner of the bedroom where Gannon's head is visible is the key area discussed in several sections below. See the right image below, taken at 8:13 hours. The placement of Gannon's bed is in the immediate location where his blood, based on DNA profile results, was found on the wall, the carpet, and on the concrete below the carpet. These details are discussed below, and a large volume of blood appears to have been in that area. For the purposes of comparison between the images, it appears that although the sheet may or may not be the same, the blankets are different, and the pillowcase, if not the whole pillow, is different. I submit that a logical explanation for the missing bedding is that they likely were saturated in blood after Gannon's murder and were removed by Letecia to clean up the murder scene. Furthermore, investigators were unable to locate the bedding in the residence during any of approximately 5 searches of the residence. So you see the photos are very, very blurry. But you could see there's a pillow there and a blanket there, and we can barely see this here. Yeah, it does say the dad was only gone from the 25th to the 28th. 3 days? Another photo was recovered from Letecia's cell phone that shows his bed was not pushed directly against the wall by the head of the bed. This photo articulates the ability for blood to get onto the walls and floor in the corner of the bedroom. Mr. Stauch stated the positioning of the bed is unusual and the bed is usually pushed against the wall. Photo from the morning of January 27th, particular attention to top left of bed. Okay. She's psychopath, not? Yup. Yeah, the dad was away for work. He was part of the National Guard and was away for training apparently in Oklahoma, flying to Denver and then going to Oklahoma. Mr. Stauch spent the night in Denver on January 25th, 2020 and flew out of Denver International Airport on January 26th, 2020. Investigators were able to corroborate he traveled to Dallas, Texas and ultimately to Oklahoma based on his flight records. On the morning of January 28th, 2020, Letecia rented a 2019 Kia Rio from Avis Rent-A-Car in Colorado Springs. She picked him up at Colorado Springs Airport at about 0850 hours on January 28, 2020, shortly after she rented the vehicle. That must have been so weird to explain that, like, where's your car? She parked it at the airport and then rented a car to drive him home. She made up big lies there, I'm sure. Letecia and Mr. Stauch drove back to their residence from the airport in the rented Kia. The timing of the rental of the Kia is suspicious, and combined with forensic evidence later obtained from the Tiguan and discussed below, tends to place additional importance on why Letecia felt compelled to rent a vehicle that morning. Investigators located no evidence that the Tiguan was not mechanically functioning or noted any reason why it could not have been physically driven. In fact, the Tiguan remained parked in the Colorado Springs Airport short-term parking lot until approximately 1900 hours on January 28th, 2020. She didn't even leave it there that long. It's just so weird. How long was Gannon alone with her? Gannon was alone with her for 3 days, from the 25th until 2 days. Yes, 25th until the 27th. Oh, man. Okay, so here we are now. Letecia provided statements to her husband, Albert Stauch, that she was concerned about putting mileage on her Tiguan lease, which justified the vehicle rental. You see those lies there? I'm sure she made up a lot more than that, but she's very concerned about the mileage. It's noted, however, that during the time of the Kia rental, Letecia only put about 71 miles on the vehicle. During the time Letecia had the Kia, she would not provide the location of the Tiguan. Mr. Stauch never saw the Tiguan. For example, she told him that the Tiguan was near the French elementary school. Yeah, she waited for him to leave. For anyone sending blue hearts, the reason people are sending blue hearts is because blue was Gannon's favorite color. And so as part of Gannon's army, people that really want to fight for justice for Gannon, people often share blue hearts. You'll see it on many other streams and things like that. So if you want to share blue hearts here, feel free to do that. Between investigators and Mr. Stauch, a limited search for the Tiguan was conducted and produced negative results. Investigators later learned she left the vehicle in the short-term parking lot of the Colorado Springs Airport, but removed the vehicle at or about January 28, 2020 at 1900 hours. The Kia Rio was returned on the morning of January 29, 2020. Okay, premeditated. She's certified crazy if she thought her story to police would hold up. Right, Mark? Exactly. I submit Letecia could not pick her husband up in the Volkswagen Tiguan because it likely would have revealed evidence of Gannon's murder, including blood or the actual remains of Gannon himself. The Kia Rio. Investigators applied for and were granted by this court a search warrant for the 2019 Kia Rio rented by Letecia Stauch. This vehicle was located at the rental car company at the Colorado Springs Airport and had not been rented to another customer in between the time Letecia dropped the vehicle off and when investigators seized it. Investigators did take a swab from a stain that was confirmed to be blood in the trunk of the Kia Rio, and you know what? That blood turned out to not be anything linked to the case. How scary is that? Submitted it to the Metro Crime Lab for analysis. A DNA profile was developed and determined it was a mixture of two contributors, one of which was male, and the major male profile did not match Gannon's DNA. What? When I read that, I'm like, what? I submit that because the Kia Rio is a rental car, it has likely been utilized by a large number of people, and the blood in the trunk may or may not be related to the investigation. And investigators may not have been able to determine the likely age of that blood and have not matched it to any known DNA profiles associated with this case. Investigators noted the Kia had a significant amount of mud underneath the vehicle, but this did not provide any successful investigative leads in looking for Gannon's remains. Investigators collected the air filter of the vehicle and attempted to identify particles that might be useful to identify where the vehicle may have been. Investigators were unable to recover any GPS data or location history for the Kia Rio. Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan is significant. The Volkswagen Tiguan is important to investigators because they believe the Tiguan was used to transport the remains of Gannon from the Stauch residence to a location where Gannon's body was dumped. The definitive locations of the Tiguan are unknown to investigators during the time period of approximately 190200 hours on January 28th, 2020, to approximately 1200 hours on January 29th. Investigators believe that Letecia dumped Gannon's remains on the evening of January 28, 2020, and utilized the Tiguan to do so. This means she probably parked the Tiguan at the airport with Gannon's body in it. Are we understanding this? This is horrible. The Tiguan was seized from Letecia on January 29, 2020. Letecia had a scheduled interview with investigators on January 29, 2020 at the EPSO located in downtown Colorado Springs, Colorado. When she arrived at about 1200 hours, she was driving the Volkswagen Tiguan. Investigators noted that the vehicle was wet and appeared to have been recently cleaned. I submit that Letecia had to clean the vehicle because there was likely visible blood on the rear end based on the below luminal reactions. Indeed, video footage was recovered that shows a partial view of a car wash located at I would say Plata, but Platte Avenue, Bonfoy Avenue, Colorado Springs, Colorado. This video captured a portion of a black SUV consistent with a VW Tiguan at or about 11:30 hours on January 29, 2020 at the car wash. The time and location are consistent with raw data obtained from the Tiguan's computer system described in more detail below, beginning in paragraph 152. Yes. Are we surprised? She's beyond diabolical, right? Oh my word. Investigators applied for and were granted a search warrant for the Tiguan, which was seized from Letecia at her interview and towed to the EPSO evidence facility. On or about February the 1st, 2020, the FBI evidence response team conducted a search of the Volkswagen Tiguan. In summary, the forensic portion of the search revealed possible traces of blood on the rear of the vehicle, a rear passenger seat, front passenger seat, and an area near the glove box based on luminal forensic latent blood stain reagent tests. Swabs from the trunk area were sent to the Metro Crime Laboratory for further analysis. And these, or those, did they say these or those? It says those or these results revealed that a DNA profile could not be developed and that the swab from the trunk was negative for the presumptive presence of blood. Welcome to everyone who's only joining now. We are discussing the case of Gannon. I say Stauch, some say Stauch, all different. Okay, I'm going to just keep saying Stauch just so we keep the flow going. I'm sorry if it annoys some of you, okay? I've always said it that way. Anyway, so we're looking at the case of Gannon Stauch, an 11-year-old boy allegedly murdered by his stepmother. She is going to be on trial very, very soon. It was set for March 28th, but might now begin on April 4th of this year because she has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, which has now meant that she's had to have all these mental evaluations, and now that's delaying the trial. But she will go to trial, and we do hope that there will be justice for Gannon. I mean, wow, it's a very sad case, and he seemed like no one should murder anyone. I'm just saying Gannon particularly seemed like the sweetest kid. Like, just, this is horrible. Okay, so what we're doing is reading through the affidavit. So they arrested her on probable cause, and that is what we are doing, in case you've just joined. If you want to go back and listen to the whole story, because I went through the whole story, feel free to do that. Just know then the chat won't line up so well. But yes, thank you for being here. I appreciate you all being here. And Jill, my birthday is on the 9th. So is it tomorrow? Are we there yet? What's the time? It's 10:30 p.m. on the 7th. My birthday's on the 9th. I'm excited to stream with you guys on the 9th, and I hope you will be here for that. Okay. We butcher names in the... Aaron, you're making me laugh for the day. Gee, I think you're pronouncing correctly. We butcher names in the US. Well, yeah, I'm from South Africa, and I'm living in the Netherlands, and a surname like that would be, say, Stauch. Okay. I'm sorry for making all these comments, but Letecia's playing games. She's a psychopath. Right? Oh, my word. Okay, so let's continue on from where we left off. I know that it's quite long, huh? Are you guys doing okay? Do you think I should split it up in two? Because I'm good. I'm like stamina, let's go. You know how I go. On this channel, I very often read through affidavits, long documents. I mean, you know that if you've been here for a while. If you've not been here, then whoa, welcome. I hope you will click the subscribe button, become part of this fantastic community. It really is great. Look at the chat. It's a wonderful community. I hope that you'll join us for the next live stream, which should probably be then on Wednesday for my birthday, where we'll be talking true crime. Yes. And maybe I'll bring a Dutch cake or pastry along to show you guys, okay? Yes. So, see, you guys can laugh at me because when I edit my videos now, I say so every friggin' time I start something new, and I have to go through and edit all of those out, and there's like 20 million times I say so, and I'm like, oh my word, I'm so annoying. Okay, Letecia, okay, let's look here. Hold on. Yes, number 68. Investigators applied for or were granted a search warrant for the Tiguan, which was seized from Letecia at her interview and towed to the EPSO evidence facility. On or about February 1st, 2020, the FBI evidence response team conducted a search of the Volkswagen Tiguan. Did we look at this? We did, right? To be clear, luminol is a chemical used. We know what luminol is. Okay, no, I'm sorry. We'll carry on. Bunny on a roll. Gisela 24/7. Type A. Type triple A. Blood type A plus. Okay, sorry. A plus. I always joke. I'm just like joking. I always joke about that I'm like type A personality, but also my blood type A plus. Okay. Hello to Zelivac. It's nice to see you as well. Okay, you are here. Keep going. Don't edit that out. It's just a pause. Oh, Erin, you should hear me. Every time I film a video for you guys and I want to do the little, you know, the little like pop-ups and the things, and I'm like, so. Just laugh at myself. Oh my word. Okay, to be clear, luminol, in case we didn't know. Okay, true crime. Luminol is a chemical used to detect trace amounts of blood at crime scenes, and although I do not have a chemical or biology background, I've learned that luminol reacts with iron in hemoglobin found in blood. When applied, luminol emits a blue glow when a reaction occurs. I'm also aware that there are things other than blood that could cause a reaction, such as other chemicals, and I do not submit that just because luminol reacted with a substance, that the substance must be blood, and only that there's a strong probability of suspected blood. The positive reaction to luminol is meant to be combined with other facts in this affidavit in support of probable cause. Nice, covering your own butt right there legally, meaning like Letecia mustn't even be like, no, actually it's not luminol, actually it was H2O2, I don't know what, bleach reacting with it. Didn't they say bleach reacted with it? Yes. Oh my word. Several areas of the Tiguan reacted to luminol, as mentioned in paragraph 68. Specifically, the search team found evidence of suspected blood on the rear bumper and step plate of the rear bumper. The location of the blood is significant because this vehicle was backed into the garage at Letecia's residence the day of Gannon's murder. The search of the residence is discussed below, but it is noted that evidence of Gannon's blood, based on DNA profile, was also located on the floor of the garage, consistent with where the rear of the Tiguan would have been. I just want to show you so that you guys can see the monster we're freaking dealing with. Here we go. What if... I was wondering that myself, Robin. What if you murdered someone with severe anemia? I was also wondering that. Very interesting, right? Okay, so this is Letecia. This was the wonderful Gannon Stauch, 11 years old. I mean, why? And how? How could someone do this? Oh man, she must just really, they must maximize that sentence. She's facing a lot. Oh, negative. The royal blood. Huh. So they say, Robin, if you've looked into it. A plus, A positive. Okay. Maybe I will share some of my Ancestry.com results with you on Wednesday for my birthday too. And bring a Dutch pastry along. It sounds fun, right? Okay. Several areas of the Tiguan reacted to luminol, as mentioned in paragraph 68. Specifically, the search team found evidence of Suspected blood on the rear bumper and step plate. So we read that, right? Are we all up to speed? We're good? Okay. Amy. So a photo is included. A photo is included below to demonstrate the reaction of the luminol reagent to the likely presence of blood. Particularly the position of the reaction leads investigators to believe that blood was likely in contact with the rear bumper of the Tiguan, and most reasonably while loading Gannon's remains in the trunk. Swabs from the exterior bumper have also been submitted to the Metro Crime Laboratory, but those results have not yet been returned. However, the Metro Crime Laboratory did return a result from the trunk of the Tiguan that was negative for the presumptive presence of blood. I know we can't see the photo very well. Within the Tiguan, a receipt from a dollar store was located, timestamped January 27, 2020 at 17:14 hours, and documented the purchase of trash bags, baking soda, vinegar, and the items listed in paragraph 74. Investigators believe that Harley purchased these items at the direction of Letecia based on the following text message sent from her cell phone to Harley's phone on January 27, 2020 at about 16:52 hours. Letecia, carpet, powder, 2 things, baking soda, trash bags. Shame on you, Letecia, my word. Also included in this dollar store purchase was baby oil, baby lotion, cotton rounds, and bubble gum. Investigators do not believe these other items were involved in the cleaning of the murder scene and likely have no investigative value at this point. Oh boy. I know from personal experience that baking soda and vinegar are common household items that can be used to clean blood. Yes, if you want to put some blue hearts in the chat, that is to represent justice for Gannon. His favorite color was blue. People in his neighborhood actually changed their light bulbs to blue so that he could find his way home when he was still missing, which is so sad to think about because Letecia knew what had happened to him. Oh my word. I know from personal experience that baking soda and vinegar are common household items that can be used to clean blood. Additionally, I conducted open source internet searches that revealed vinegar is one of the most common items used to clean blood stains, and that when baking soda is applied to blood stains prior to vinegar, it has an efficient effect in removing blood stains. While the purchase of items such as vinegar and baking soda are common and in no sense illegal on their own, the timing of the purchase of these items and Gannon's suspected murder are beyond coincidental. Also located was a parking receipt for the Colorado Springs Airport that documented the Tiguan was brought into the airport short-term parking lot at around 8:30 hours and left the lot at or about 9:02 hours, both on January 28, 2020. Thank you for setting the blue hearts for Gannon. We want justice for Gannon, and we will be watching this trial, and I don't even care to say it, hoping for the worst for her. Oh my word. Hope she'll never get out, honestly. She thinks she's very smart too. She thinks she's very smart. She's playing the system, you know. On January 29, 2020, Letecia returned the rented Kia at approximately 900 hours, and she was picked up by someone driving the white Jetta. Investigators were unable to confirm that Harley was driving the Jetta, but it is her primary vehicle, and her historical cell site location from her cellular telephone records support her phone was in that area. As such, I believe Harley was likely driving the Jetta. Yes. I'm saying yes to some of the comments here. Justice is a dish best served cold. Yes. Yeah, the worst isn't good enough. I agree. My goodness. Don't they have the death sentence there? Do they have capital punishment in Colorado? I believe they do, right? Right? Amy, do they have it there? Whoa. Imagine that. Oh my word. Investigators were able to download telematics and stored electronic data from the Tiguan. A more in-depth exploitation of the Tiguan's electronic systems, more specifically its historical locations, were developed and will be discussed below in more detail, beginning paragraph 152. Investigators were able to determine some of the locations of the Tiguan on the evening of January 28, 2020, including its location in the area of Highway 105 South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. Investigators also served a search warrant to AT&T related to an international mobile subscriber identity, IMSI, designated to the Tiguan's, does it say Carnet feature? Carnet feature. Okay. AT&T responded to the search warrant and provided network event location system, NELOS data, that would give an estimated location of the Tiguan. The data revealed that during the evening of January 28, 2020, between 20:30, 8:30 at night, and 10:20 at night, the Tiguan was generally in the greater northwest portion of Colorado Springs and likely also in an area north of the Air Force Academy in southern Douglas County. I submit that during this time period, investigators believe that Letecia disposed of Gannon's remains. Of note, during the time period, approximately 20:30 and 22:20 hours on January 28, 2020, Harley's cell phone is connected to a tower that would service the Stauch residence over approximately 30 miles from Letecia's suspected location. There was activity on Harley's telephone during that time, and investigators do not believe that Harley was with Letecia when she disposed of the body. However, at approximately 22:26 hours, 10:26 in the evening, Harley's cell phone leaves the Stauch residence and goes to the area of Powers and Carefree, where investigations suspect she picked Letecia up. Oh, yeah, okay. Our governor did his legal thing, so not at this time, no capital punishment. You guys are allowed to say hello to Nightbot. But Nightbot is a bot. But Nightbot is a very nice guy. If we discipline him. Sometimes he's a little bit strict. Yay, Dance Express Productions. Remember when we did this? You were one of the OGs. Oh my word. The fact that she's claiming insanity is simply ridiculous. Oh, I couldn't agree more, Robert. Like, she's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. I mean, look at all this friggin' planning. Does she even know what the meaning of that is? Wow. Yeah, so if anyone's wondering why the mods put an exclamation mark and then like a letter, it is to generate a command from Nightbot. That's the way Nightbot works. There's no other way around it. So if you see them sending something, it's to trigger whatever follows next. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the mods who are here. I really appreciate it. I know this is major overtime. But you guys know how it works. If you need to go, you can go. It's all good. I'll be here monitoring. Yes, pleasing insanity. Is she nuts? Right? Is she nuts? Yes, but not legally. Nightbot needs some love too, right? Okay. Right, so for anyone that's just gotten here, I see there are some new people rolling in right now. We're looking at the case of 11-year-old, let me show you, Gannon Stauch. This wonderful little boy who was, I still have to say allegedly at this point, murdered by this friggin' monster right here. This monster who's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity and delaying her freaking trial, even though it's already been like, oh my word, the delays upon delays upon delays. She's really putting the brakes on there. But she's going to trial. And the opening statements are expected on April 4th, even though her trial's set for March 28th. But because she's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity, she's had to undergo a whole range of mental evaluations. She's going to do her third one, and the results of that are only expected on March 31st. And her trial was supposed to start on March 28th. So she's messed it up and delayed it again, and they're expecting that it's going to be happening on April 4th, opening statements. Okay. Lorraine, I'm sure no one was making fun of you. If they were, then no. Shame on them. No one makes fun of no one over here, okay? I like that you were nice to Nightbot. I, as you know, animate everything. Like, everything. So, Nightbot, completely understand. Okay, are we ready to continue with the affidavit? Of note, during the time period of approximately 2030, did we read this? Wait. Yes, okay. So now we are January 29th, 2020, interview and the report of an alleged, now look at this, an alleged essay. I can't say that word. YouTube will shut this right down. Alleged, you can read it on the screen yourself. Don't type it there, okay? Just look at it. See? Trigger warning, okay? As mentioned above, Letecia voluntarily came to the EPSO for an interview with investigators, but only after she was evasive and avoided speaking with investigators one-on-one. Her interview was audio and video recorded, and the below information includes her own statements, as well as investigation geared towards corroborating those statements. In general, her statements are reasonably categorized as untruthful, incomplete, and misleading. Letecia was supposed to arrive at 10 a.m. on January 29, 2020, but did not arrive until noon. 2 hours late. I mean, what a first impression with investigators. And not first impression, but you know what I mean. Although she spoke with investigators on the phone several times, she did not want investigators coming to her home and was difficult at best to track down. Investigators provided food and water to Letecia during the interview. Wow. I'm rolling my eyes just because of her audacity. Of interest, Letecia brought several pieces of notebook paper with her that contained notes that she'd written down. Oh, she came prepared. During crib notes, right? Crib notes, yeah. During the interview, she referred to these pieces of paper and asked investigators if she could just read her notes. Investigators were not able to seize these documents. The way they worded, I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at this ridiculousness, because she's sitting there like, I came with notes, and when they say they weren't able to seize it, I could just imagine them like sitting there like looking at the notes like, we need to get that, you know. I've conducted hundreds of interviews of subjects, victims, and witnesses. It's extremely rare for an individual to bring notes to an interview. It's like red friggin' flag. Letecia drastically departed from her initial statements given to EPSO deputies regarding the report of Gannon's disappearance. In summary, she said she'd been held at gunpoint and essayed by a Hispanic male that she knew as Eduardo, and that Gannon was abducted by that male after he finished assaulting her. The interviewing detectives believed her statements were false based on prior experience investigating SA cases. Letecia said she arrived home she concocted a whole story, okay? She arrived home around 14:30 hours on January 27, 2020, and she disarmed her security system and then went into the basement. She said that Eduardo was in the basement, attacked her, and pointed a gun at her. She said that after Eduardo held her at gunpoint, he allowed her to go upstairs to greet her stepdaughter, Letecia Stauch, date of birth 1/22/2012, who had just arrived home from school. Letecia said she sent her outside to ride her bike and then returned to the basement where Eduardo, and this was that sentence, vaginally penetrated her against her will. Sorry for trigger warning. I just, like, the way that she talks is like, oh my word. Essayed her, right, against her will. Yes, that's normally what it means, Letecia. Okay, between 15:30 and 16:30 hours. During this period, she believed that she had hit her head and may have blacked out. Investigators noted no injuries on Letecia's head during their contact with her. Letecia also said that during the attack, Gannon jumped on Eduardo's back. So she's concocted this whole story, a huge story. Gannon jumped on his back, and that Eduardo was able to throw Gannon off of his back and across the room. After Eduardo had finished, he had the gun held to Gannon and demanded a suitcase. So in her pea brain, she's like, what are they going to think about the suitcase being missing? Ah, Eduardo. Letecia provided him with a brown suitcase and a cardboard box. Eduardo attempted to essay her again, but she hit her head and blacked out again. Tawny L says, if only she'd had a Grizzly notebook and part of this community, would have put her straight and let her know she's not nearly clever or intelligent enough to get away with this. Exactly. Yes, head injury again. Oh my word. Letecia stated that she tried to fight Eduardo off but was unsuccessful. I know from training and experience that if an individual holds another person at gunpoint, he or she would likely not allow the person to have opportunity for escape, as Letecia described, being allowed to greet her stepdaughter upstairs before returning to the basement. Take a break, go upstairs, greet your daughter, then come back down here. Like, as if. Most crucially, if Letecia's story was accurate, any reasonable person would have immediately called 911 and reported the home invasion, or were then a kidnapping of their child. Letecia called law enforcement hours later and did not report the illegal R-word until approximately 2 days later. Of even more significance, Letecia said she cleaned up the area where this alleged attack had happened. She straightened up signs of disturbances in Gannon's room and cleaned up the utility room. Investigators recovered cleaning supplies such as carpet brushes, which contained suspected carpet fibers. I submit that Letecia did in fact clean something up, but it was the murder scene of Gannon, not a SA. Investigators took steps to corroborate Letecia's statements before dismissing them as false and misleading. For example, investigators reviewed footage from a neighborhood security camera that captured the exterior of the Stauch residence from the day of Gannon's murder and did not observe a Hispanic male entering the house. Wow, go figure, right? Investigators did observe Lena arrive home on the school bus at around 15:11 hours, observed her enter the residence, and observed her riding her bike at around 15:30 hours. Furthermore, Letecia was offered the opportunity to have a SA nurse examiner conduct a forensic examination at a local hospital. Ultimately, Letecia didn't want to have that exam completed. Oh, eye roll. When given the opportunity to provide investigators with evidence that would possibly identify Eduardo, Letecia refused to cooperate. Imagine the first suspect who goes to an interview prepared with a Grizzly merch notebook. Oh no, that must never happen. Grizzly is no better. Okay. Letecia stated that she met Eduardo on January 26, 2020, the day prior to Gannon's murder. She generally described a Hispanic male with brown hair and brown eyes, but could not provide any specific identifying information. In summary, she told investigators that Gannon had knocked over a candle on Sunday, causing the carpet to burn. After that incident, she drove around the neighborhood where residential construction was taking place. She met Eduardo, who was working on a house, and asked if he would repair the carpet in her home. Eduardo agreed, and Letecia provided him the garage door code, and they agreed he would repair the carpet while she was shopping the next day. Now, apparently, I believe it's out there. I've heard it. There was a voice recording, right? Of Gannon's voice with this actually happened. As in the candle and the wax on the carpet and all this stuff. And it's just horrible to hear how Gannon sounded the day before. To the extent Letecia spoke about Lena, investigators were able to corroborate those statements, but never observed Eduardo or anyone else arrive or leave the residence. I like how they have to put Eduardo. Like, who the heck is Eduardo? Some made-up person in her mind here. Leave the residence during that time period based on exterior neighborhood video footage of the front of the residence. Specifically, the exterior video footage revealed that Lena was riding a bike outside between approximately 15:30 and 15:42 hours. Furthermore, the front door of the residence opened and closed at 15:28 hours based on the data from ADT security systems discussed more below. I know from training and experience that when individuals concoct lies, most reasonably to conceal the truth, they oftentimes leave portions of truth within those lies. See, that's what we're saying. Like, remember with these, the case that we just did now of Classic and Sincere, and he said the kids were playing outside with chalk, and now it turns out the dog's name is actually Chalk. Stuff like that. They use part truths and just sprinkle that in to try to convince themselves of what they're saying, right? I submit that the statements Letecia made reference Lena and the time period Lena was at the residence are likely true based on video evidence. Her other statements, however, are blatant lies designed to mislead investigators. Yes. Her and Chazzy Boy. Oh, no. I've listed some new merch there. It's called Fly on the Wall. Because sometimes, when I say, don't you wish you could be a fly on the wall? Or we say, like, oh, we don't want to be a fly on that wall. Well, in this case, we do want to be a fly on Letecia's wall right now. Yes, we do. See her stressing. Investigators also reviewed Letecia's phone records during the time period of this alleged essay, of 15:30 to 16:30 hours on January 27, 2020. During this time period, Letecia had phone activity to include an outgoing phone call and numerous iMessages, text messages using an iPhone, to Mr. Stauch and Harley, namely to discuss purchasing a new set of headphones for Albert. That's what she's discussing at this time. Oh my word. These text messages occurred at the following times: 15:41, 15:42, 15:43, 15:44, 15:45, 16:11, 16:19, and 16:20. Investigators also were granted a search warrant by this court that was served to ADT Home Security, which requested data stored on the ADT service related to the residence. The Stauch residence was equipped with basement and living room motion detectors and contact detectors to the front and rear door. ADT was in possession of logs that documented the time, date, and type of event that generated a log. For example, when either motion detector was activated or the front or rear door opened or closed, there is a record of that event. Of course. Letecia claimed that she was essayed in the basement between 2:30 and 3:30 in the afternoon. During that time, the back door of the residence located on the main level was opened and closed 10 times. If indeed Letecia was being essayed in the basement, it would be impossible for her to open the upstairs back door of the residence at the same time. I submit that Letecia's claims of being essayed in the basement are false based on her cell phone activity and the stored ADT data, like data. We say data in South Africa, but here data. Wow. Been a Grizzly since Gabby, watched the video, skinned, and thought, I wonder what your analysis. Are you talking about the band that makes songs? I hate it. I honestly think it's inappropriate. I can't stand it if that's what you're talking about. Anyway, I'd rather have the flu flap handy. Okay. The logs from ADT indicate significant activity in the basement of the residence where evidence suggests that Gannon was murdered. For example, between January 23, 2020 and January 26, 2020, and the hours of 1500 to 1700, the average number of basement motions events was 3.5. On January 27th, the average number of basement motions was 10.3. A possible scenario for the increase in activity is that Letecia was going upstairs and downstairs in order to get cleaning supplies and cleaning the murder scene. Oh, this is horrible. Towards the end of the interview, Letecia said she wanted to leave. Investigators seized her telephone and detained her while they applied for a search warrant to obtain DNA collection. Letecia began stuffing tissues in her pants and said she was having chest pain and shortness of breath. Okay. The investigators immediately requested medical assistance and paramedics from the Colorado Springs Fire Department arrived. Letecia had appropriate responses to the paramedics' questions. Remember when John Wayne Gacy also did that? I'm aware that Letecia has made statements regarding Gannon's disappearance to individuals other than law enforcement, including but not limited to her friend, her husband, and the media. Indeed, some of those conversations have been captured and memorialized in recorded phone conversations and email messages. If you are still with me from the beginning, thank you for still being here. We're going to go over more of this now and see her phone records, which are very interesting. The Google search records, right? We're getting to that because that's just ridiculous. Okay. Stuffing her pants with tissues. What the heck is she doing? So Letecia's stories have continued to evolve and material facts continue to change, including but not limited to the identity of her attacker, the location of Gannon's abduction, and the details of the alleged essay. During her statements, Letecia did deny killing Gannon and provided explanations as to why there was blood in her Tiguan, blood in Gannon's room, and why she was in the area of Palmer Lake, Colorado. What did she come up with there, huh? What did we think? Letecia is transported to a local hospital in Colorado Springs on January 29, 2020. Now, Letecia was transported to the hospital via ambulance from the EPSO for further medical attention. She was accompanied by detectives during the ride to the hospital. Unlike questions at the EPSO by paramedics during the ambulance ride, Letecia was unresponsive to questions by medical personnel and seemed to have a miraculous recovery when they arrived at the hospital. The ambulance ride was audio recorded. Letecia received medical care at the hospital, and the details of that care is not included in this affidavit for medical privacy reasons. Letecia did not have any life-threatening issues and signed herself out prior to all her exams being completed. Please trust why she stuffed her pants with tissues. Yeah, she stuffed tissues in her pants. Yes. Okay. Letecia continued evasive behavior at the hospital, but particularly after investigators told her that they were going to detain her pending the issuance of a search warrant to collect her DNA. Ultimately, the search warrant for the collection of non-testimonial evidence was signed and executed. A second warrant for the compelled SANE exam was initially authorized by this court, that's for the nurse, remember, but then was quashed by the court. To be clear, Letecia did not allow a SANE exam to be completed. That's just check for SA, you know. Letecia was not in custody after the warrant was executed at the hospital and left the hospital without telling investigators. She also made a phone call from the waiting room at the hospital. There was physical surveillance being conducted by law enforcement in the area, and the investigators learned Letecia was picked up by an unknown person at the hospital and was reunited with her daughter several miles from the hospital. This is the best one. Letecia. Oh my word. Letecia. Yeah, tell us why. I don't know why. She crazy. I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. Right? Okay. Okay, why do you think? Don't be gross, guys, but why do you think she's putting tissues in her pants, hey? My word. Although her behavior was not illegal, I submit that as pressure continued to increase from investigators, Letecia became more and more desperate to leave the hospital, likely because she feared being caught in her lies. Furthermore, Letecia did not want to pursue collecting evidence that might assist law enforcement in identifying her supposed, you know what, here's the word, searches of Letecia's residence and discovery of confirmed blood in Gannon's bedroom. Whoa. Hope you guys are still okay. Welcome, Ronna. Still here with eyes closed but listening. Investigators searched the Stauch residence several times over several weeks after applying for and being granted search warrants from the court. The purpose of these searches was to collect evidence, including biological evidence in support of the captioned investigation. The forensic searches were conducted by the Colorado Springs Metro Crime Lab. To avoid confusion, the January 28, 2020 initial search was authorized by Mr. Stauch, and he provided consent to search the residence. Not all of the evidence recovered is included below. However, the forensic testing results of several items, including a pair of size 8.5 Nike shoes, are discussed in paragraph 126. Gannon's remaining family members were living in the residence during the period of these searches, and investigators did not initially seal the residence off. Crime scene analysts from the Colorado Springs Metro Crime Lab responded to the residence and found traces of blood throughout the residence based on Blue Star forensic latent blood reagent tests. There was visible blood in Gannon's room, in the garage, and other portions of the house. Wow. Blue Star forensic stain has similar limitations to luminol, which has been described and discussed above. By way of background, the residence located at 6627 Mandan Drive, Colorado Springs, Colorado, is a ranch-style single-family home, approximately 2,500 square feet, with a 2-car attached garage. There are 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms in the residence. 2 of those bedrooms are in the basement, including Gannon's. Next to Gannon's room, there's an unfinished utility room. And on the other side of the basement, another bedroom and a bathroom. There is a staircase with a small landing that allows access from the main level to the basement, and the garage is accessible from the inside of the residence. The Blue Star reagent was applied to Gannon's bedroom, the hallway leading to the utility room from his bedroom, the utility room itself, the staircase, and the landing leading upstairs from the utility room, the pathway to the garage from the stairs, and the garage area itself. In all of these areas, investigators found positive results for the likely presence of blood. That's scary. Still here, Grizzly. Can't shake off the NYPD. That's right. I should have been there, right? I've got the stamina. Specifically in Gannon's bedroom, in a corner of the room, investigators located an area where suspected blood had seeped through the carpet, through the pad, and stained the concrete. Furthermore, there was also blood stain and projected blood spatter located on the walls in this area. Indeed, over 50 droplets of suspected blood were found on the walls near Gannon's bed. Crime scene investigators also suspected someone attempted to clean the walls based on the way the Blue Star reagent reacted on the wall. Gannon's mattress was also seized and contains a red stain consistent with blood in the same area as the stain on the carpet and the blood cast off the walls. The blood cast off on the walls. The stains on the mattress were swabbed, but were not tested with Blue Star reagent. The lab results have not yet been returned, but because blood in the area was determined to be Gannon's blood, investigators suspect the blood on the mattress is also Gannon's blood. The biological mother is around. She was around at the time, making, pleading for her son. She's South Carolina. Yes. Amy says, I say Nike, hard E. Some say Nike, some say Nike. Depends, right? Where's Gannon's mother? Okay, we said that to show off her bulge, exactly. Robert. I've included several crime scene photographs that include the wall next to Gannon's bed and the carpet pad that was removed by investigators to expose the concrete below. Based on the orientation of Gannon's bed, the vast majority of the blood would be in line with the position of his head and torso and consistent with the stain of the mattress displayed above. I submit that the blood located in Gannon's room appears to have been cleaned up based on residual blood residue on the baseboards, an electrical outlet cover, and the blood that soaked through the carpet. Just an FYI, I really feel like I want to go through this entire document today, in today's live stream. So we're doing some major overtime, if that's okay. Because it's better for me to just keep going, and then you could watch this any time if you can't watch the whole thing. Than to do some now and some tomorrow, and I've got the birthday live stream on Wednesday, you know what I mean? I think we should just keep going, because I'm like in it now, I'm in it. And I just really, I hope you're enjoying it. The case is not what we enjoy. We enjoy discussing true crime together, right? So I hope you enjoy being here with me. And thank you for being here. Okay, sorry, I'm just clearing my throat. I also edit those out. When I edit, I'm like... Okay, so you see. Right, investigators have requested but have not yet received a report from Tom Griffin, who is an International Association for Identification, IAI, certified senior crime scene analyst, a bloodstain pattern analyst, and a crime scene reconstructionist. Mr. Griffin examined the blood spatter on Gannon's walls. You're like, go, go, go. Overtime. Snarky overtime. Mr. Griffin examined the blood spatter on Gannon's walls. Mr. Griffin preliminarily reported that the stains on the walls are consistent with one or more blood spatter producing events, which could include a gunshot, blunt force, or stabbing. Oh man, and all of those were done, right? Mr. Griffin did not believe the bloodstains were aspirated blood, primarily due to the lack of air bubbles in the stains. Furthermore, the shape of the stains were affected by the surface texture of the drywall itself. The final report from Mr. Griffin has not yet been received and is pending peer review. Yeah, I freaking love reading documents to you guys. I wear my Gannon Strong shirt proudly. That is awesome. Gannon Strong. Gannon's Army. Blue hearts for Gannon. Trace evidence swabs of suspected blood were obtained from the electrical socket next to Gannon's bed. Bet she didn't think to check that, right? These swabs revealed the blood was indeed Gannon's blood based on the DNA profile testing. The electrical socket also has evidence of streak marks which are reasonably suspected to be from Letecia's attempted cleaning. When investigators removed the outlet cover, a visible red stain was present outlining its edges. The presence of this stain tends to support that there was enough blood around the outlet cover to seep around its edges, leaving a visible outline. Whoa. I have my boxing friggin' chain on. I'm a fighter, you know what I mean? It's my gangster chain. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. We're over the halfway mark, you know what I mean? You're like, I couldn't be happier about overtime. Well, that is awesome. I'm loving it. And KB says, I was here, GB, when you covered this. Right? We did the interview and everything. We analyzed the whole interview and the whole lot. I think that was like a 4-parter that I did. Thank you for sending blue hearts, everyone, for Gannon. Okay, so here's some photos. I've also included a photograph of the suspected blood stain in the concrete located in the corner of the bedroom where Gannon's bed was positioned. This stain is also visible in the photo depicting the suspected blood spatter on the walls. The carpet above the stain in the concrete was clean, and investigators suspect Letecia cleaned the area based on carpet fibers and scrub brushes, the acquisition of carpet cleaning supplies, vinegar, and baking soda. Whew. 6627 Mandan Drive was a new construction build, and the Stauch family was the only family to reside in the residence. In case anyone asked. Oh, someone was going to pipe up. I could feel it. What if it was someone else's blood on the concrete? No, they were the only residents at the time that had been in that house. New construct. Speed bag and heavy bag. Oh my goodness. On January 29, 2020, investigators recovered a piece of carpet from the utility room with possible bloodstains. The recovery of this carpet tends to further support the positive alerts from the Blue Star reagent in the utility room. The Metro Crime Lab reported the substance tested presumptively positive for the presence of blood, but was unable to develop a DNA profile. On January 29, 2020, investigators found in the dishwasher, oh my word, multiple carpet brushes. Because that's where you put that, right? With suspected carpet fibers on them, and the dishwasher appeared to have been run. Investigators believe these brushes were used to clean up the murder scene. To be clear, no formal testing was completed to confirm the fibers on the brushes were carpet. Investigators also located an empty gallon-sized container of vinegar within the residence. Mr. Stauch believed there was approximately a half of the container left before he left for Oklahoma on January 25, 2020. As mentioned above, additional vinegar was purchased on January 27, 2020. EPSO deputies that responded to the Stauch home on January 27, 2020 did not notice the bloodstains in Gannon's bedroom, and it should be noted the initial report was that Gannon had left the home and had not returned. As additional information was developed, more forensic searches of Gannon's rooms were conducted, which revealed the aforementioned evidence. There were small traces of blood found in the depressions of the drywall and paint texture that Letecia failed to remove when she cleaned the murder scene. Yes, please do go over it again anytime. Yep. Thank you, Julie G. Pretty sure I've been here since you first started. Still here, loving the way you do things. Feel like I'm listening to a dear friend. From Australia, so it's morning for you. Good morning to you. That's crazy. The husband knew how much vinegar was in the house. My husband wouldn't know what vinegar even was. Yeah, I don't think mine would know either. He's like, what vinegar? Oh, man. Okay. Metro Crime Lab Report case number 20 MCL 00267. Hey, if you guys want to hear my advert again, you just let me know, because I'll play that thing. It's got my pilot voice on, okay? I've received and viewed Metro Crime Lab Report lab case number 20 MCL 00267 completed by serologist Sherry Holmes number 6622. Although I've discussed results related to this DNA testing in other portions of this affidavit, the intention of this section is to provide clarity and eliminate ambiguity of which samples were submitted to the laboratory and which samples were or were not attributable to Gannon Stauch's DNA. I'm just checking your messages there. Very nice. All right. So additionally, there is an unknown contributor in some of the DNA profiles that were developed. As mentioned elsewhere in this affidavit, I do not have a biology background, but I'm aware that a DNA profile is very accurate. Yes, it's nice to have you all here. Thank you for being here. If you are just rolling in now, we're looking at the case of. If you guys are watching this whole thing through and you're like, why does she do this all the time? Because some people just join and they're like, what is going on here? And maybe they're new, and we want them to be part of this wonderful Grizzly community, right? So we are looking at the case of 11-year-old Gannon Stauch, who was, at this point, we still have to say allegedly murdered. He was murdered, but allegedly by his stepmother, Letecia Stauch, who's this friggin' monster here, awaiting trial, which was meant to happen on March 28th. But because she's pleading guilty, I keep saying guilty. She's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity, okay. She has had to go through a lot of mental evaluations, the third one of which is the results will be expected on March 31st, which delays the trial. It was meant to start on March 28th. So now they're saying the opening statements will probably be on April 4th. And she's facing a lot of charges. Yes, she is. And if you want to hear the entire story of this case, scroll on back to the beginning, and there I've covered the whole case. Now what we're doing is looking at the affidavit together, where they were arresting her for probable cause based on all the evidence. Welcome to Betrayed by Corrupt Scumbags. Your name, Betrayed by Corrupt Scumbags. Welcome to membership. I hope that you enjoy all the little perks, the stickers, the emojis, the everything. Feel free to use it, guys, as much as you like. All the ones you have. Love to hear your pilot voice. Pilot voice. I don't see how they could possibly find her insane. Well, yeah, that's why I'm glad she's actually pleading that, because there's no freaking way she'll win it, in my opinion. Right? I saw this case. Evil's everywhere. Hello, Annette. It's nice to see you. Don't worry. You're late. We're still here. We're only just over halfway. We're going to be here a little while, honey. Okay, it's 11:15 for me. It's been 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm still going strong. If you saw my 12-hour live stream, you know I've got this. Okay. So now let's just find our place, right? And if you hear my stomach, it's like, it's waiting for the birthday cake. It's like, where is it? I'm like, it's not yet. 2 more sleeps, okay? That's what we do, exactly. Okay. Let me sip some water. Yeah, her eyes are so empty, right? Look at this. My word. Okay, so now, seeing as I worked so freaking hard on this advert, I'm going to play it again, okay? Enjoy it. I enjoy it. Here we go, guys. Welcome to Grizzly True Crime, established June 2021. Thank you for watching. Viewing Grizzly videos is a great source of support, and it's free. 100% free ways to support Grizzly True Crime. Like the video, subscribe, and share. Other fantastic ways to support the channel are by becoming a member. All you gotta do is click the join button. During a live stream or premiere, you can buy a super chat or super sticker by clicking that button right there. The most direct way to support the channel is on PayPal, link below. Join the Grizzly Patreon community and get exclusive perks. You can get ebooks, audiobooks, paperbacks, and collectible notebooks or journals on Amazon. Or you can buy me a coffee.com/Gisela K. I do love coffee. Get yourself some Grizzly merch, and if you do, remember to tag me on social media. Follow me on Twitter at Grizzly Gisela, Instagram or TikTok Grizzly True Crime. See you there. Thank you for watching, and now let's get back to the video. It's my pilot voice. Thank you for watching that. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making it. So thanks that I could play it twice already for you. If you're new here and you're like, whoa, that was cool. Okay, that was the first time. But if you've been here from the start of the stream, you're like, again. Yeah, again. And wait till you see my outro. I also worked very hard on that. So you guys will love that. You're going to see some fury. Okay, are we ready to carry on? Investigators submitted swabs from Gannon Stauch's toothbrush bristles, toothbrush head, and from a tooth retainer. Remember? Do you remember? Did we talk about this? Letecia was like, "Oh my word, they're taking toothbrush stuff." She was calling Al. Okay, we'll get to it. Don't worry, Elbows Mom. We're going to be here for a while. We're only just over halfway through this document. You say I have a radio DJ voice. Yeah, the purple snarky shirt, huh? There's lots of colors, by the way. Everything I showed you there with the merch, just before we continue, everything that I showed you is in... I go and select all the freaking colors. All the colors. You can have all the colors, okay? As long as it's available in your area. I think that's the only fine print. Moving right along. So, here we go. Investigators submitted swabs from Gannon Stauch's toothbrush bristles, toothbrush head, and from a tooth retainer that Mr. Stauch said belonged to Gannon. DNA buccal swabs were also taken from Gannon's biological father, mother, and from Letecia. From these samples, DNA profiles for these individuals were developed and used as a comparison for other testing. In summary, Gannon's DNA profile was found from blood samples taken in the garage, on the outside of the size 8.5 Nike shoes, and in Gannon's bedroom. Letecia's DNA was recovered from the interior of the size 8.5 Nike shoes. I submit to the court that the lab results tend to corroborate the theory that Gannon was indeed murdered in his bedroom, brought into the garage, and his remains loaded into the Volkswagen Tiguan, subsequently to be disposed of in an unknown location. JC, absolutely. By playing the insanity card, she doesn't deny having done it. Quite the opposite, right? It's true. She's just shooting herself in the foot. Okay. Remains loaded into the Volkswagen, subsequently to be disposed of in an unknown location. To be more specific, a serology study was conducted by the Metro Crime Lab, and the following samples tested positive for the presence of blood. These samples were also analyzed and compared to known DNA profiles of Gannon Stauch, Letecia Stauch, and Albert Stauch. Okay. Numbers, okay, taken from a piece of carpet found inside a carpet roll in the utility room. Found to be a mixture of 3 contributors, at least one of which is male. A DNA profile was not suitable for comparison due to the number of contributors and the complexity of the mixture. And then taken from the Stauch residence directly from underwear, the rear hatch of the Tiguan when reversed into the garage. This DNA profile from the blood is a mixture of 2 contributors, one of which is male. The major profile matches Gannon Stauch. And then taken from the garage of the Stauch residence directly under where the rear hatch of the Tiguan when reversed into the garage. This DNA profile from the blood is a mixture of 2 contributors, one of which is male. The major profile matches Gannon Stauch. Thank you, Robert. Yes, I'm still on. I hope you will get a notebook. I just put another one up yesterday. In case I don't know where to always share this, but like, yes, I actually put 2 new notebooks up yesterday, so you guys must just keep an eye out on Amazon. You'll see new ones pop up quite regularly, like the merch. Okay, so this is all about this is all. You want me to go through each one like this? I normally do, but like this is each one, the DNA profile. Okay, I'm going to go through it. I just need some water because my voice is going. Okay, 4269S14031. I'm not going to read all the numbers, but taken from the garage of the Stauch residence directly under where the rear hatch of the Tiguan when reversed into the garage. This DNA profile from the blood matches Gannon Stauch. So this is like highly detailed. I mean, shame. She I don't know. It's not shame. I'm just saying she doesn't have a leg to stand on, honestly. A DNA profile could not be developed, but tested presumptively positive for the presence of blood. Taken from the blood-stained carpet fibers in Gannon's bedroom, the DNA profile was obtained from the blood and it matches the profile of Gannon Stauch. And then on the corner of Gannon's bedroom, on the carpet pad by his bed, a DNA profile from the bloodstain matches Gannon Stauch. My voice is holding up, huh? This is why I want to finish this tomorrow. Then I've got to make sure I save it for Wednesday, right? For my birthday. Birthday stream is happening. Okay. A DNA profile is from the bloodstain is a mixture of 2 individuals, at least one of which was male. The major profile matches the DNA of Gannon Stauch. A DNA profile was obtained from the blood and matches the DNA profile of Gannon Stauch. Exactly. Yes. Okay, I'm going to. I normally like to read everything, but I do want to get through it also. This is all the matches of the profile. Okay, you can pause it and just read this if you need to. Okay. Historical cell site location, because I really want to get to the Google stuff, the searches that she did. And my word, that was just ridiculous what she searched. Okay, great. You finally got to order your notebook. Look at this. Investigators applied for and were granted search warrants by this court to obtain historical call detail records to include cell site locations of cellular devices known to be utilized by Letecia and Harley. Your affiant has reviewed information from this analysis and in summary learned the following information. Historical cell site analysis helps to determine the location of a cellular telephone based on cell tower antenna locations and orientation. Locations are determined by activity of the cellular telephone and represent an approximate area and not an exact location. Different cellular carriers report this information in different formats and fashions. The historical cell site analysis identified unusual activity for Letecia, including potentially disconnecting her cell phone from the cellular network for several hours. She went on flight mode, huh? I submitted that by disconnecting the phone, Letecia intended to prevent law enforcement from being able to determine her location. Specifically, this occurred on January 28, 2020, during the evening that she disposed of Gannon's remains. Okay, here we go. Investigators applied for and were granted a search warrant for Letecia's cellular telephone. A physical download was conducted and investigators were able to recover data inclusive of text messages, call records, the specific times her cell phone was unlocked, battery levels, and other information. In summary, investigators learned that Letecia lied to her employer, her husband, her friends, her daughter, and the children's babysitter. I will not include each and every text message or lie, because there's so many. Tea with honey for your overtime. That's true. I do have very nice honey. Can't remember what they call it. It's literally like wild. You know, the Netherlands is full of freaking flowers. It's like wildflower honey. It's very nice. Oh my word, Robert! The notebooks are really nice enough to frame and put up on the wall. What? Okay. And you should see the two I made for you today. Wait till you see that one. Sorry to brag. Subtle brag. Okay, moving right along. It's like a watercolor bear, oh my word. Moving along. What was the other one? I made two of them. Anyway, moving along. Okay. Additionally, there are messages that would otherwise tend to corroborate her statements about Gannon's whereabouts on the afternoon of January 27, 2020, if in fact he did go to play with his friends. As discussed in other portions of the affidavit, Letecia's story was false and misleading. And these messages were likely sent by her as part of a larger plan to support her initial lies about his disappearance. For example, on January 28, 2020, at approximately 5:14 hours, Letecia had a conversation with Stephanie, the children's babysitter, saved in the phone as Stephanie Sitter. There is no indication that Gannon ever went to a doctor, and Letecia never brought that up with investigators. Some, but not all, of the conversation is below. So if we look here, Stephanie Sitter, outgoing. This happened after 3:30. We talked to him and then told him to be home by 5. Incoming. Someone posted he wasn't at school either. Outgoing. He had to go to the doctor for his stomach, but he was here in the afternoon. Hold on. Yeah, where did he say he was at? Honestly, I don't keep up with friends. My word. What? Your notebooks are on the table like magazines. What? That is true as well. In prison. I just hope, sometimes they keep these ones like separate. They shouldn't do that. Letecia made statements to investigators via text message that could be considered exculpatory, remember that word, in nature, related to the presence of blood in the basement of their residence as seen in the below text message. I have talked with investigators that were inside the residence on January 27th, 28th, and 29th. There was no odor of smoke and no evidence of smoke. In fact, one detective noted the basement smelled like coconut and was very pleasant. What? That's probably that baby oil they bought. I don't know. You know what I mean? My word. Yes. Okay. My word. It smelled like coconut. I'm like, what? It's probably, remember earlier, the daughter bought bubble gum and baby oil and stuff. Maybe that's what they mean by the smell of coconut. Furthermore, I know that burns oftentimes do not produce wounds that bleed profusely. Whoa. I'm trying to read this. When we came back inside from the smoke, there was blood on both of us. I didn't know what to do. What is she saying? Participant Nicole Owner and Nicole Owner, did she say? I didn't know if we should go to the doctor. I kept trying to add the what? The thing, but Albert kept saying it was small and minor. Is she talking about the candle? The candle thing. I kept trying to add the candle thing, but Albert kept saying it was small and minor. I was scared the basement was smoky. She's talking about the candle. Now it's like the candle. She's trying to say that Gannon almost burnt the house down with this freaking candle. Yeah, coconut? That's what I'm thinking. Coconut? Thank you to Isabella. My birthday is on Wednesday. I'll be having a birthday stream on Wednesday. But thank you so much. I hope you'll be there too. The below message appears to contain instructions from Letecia to Harley to purchase carpet powder, baking soda, trash bags on or about January 27, 2020 at 4:52 p.m. These messages are important because investigators believe the purpose of these items was to clean up blood from the murder of Gannon. This text message was also referenced in above paragraphs 72.76. Okay. Carpet powders, 2 things, baking soda and trash bags. I just feel like the coconut, it could be a coconut scented candle, but don't you think that maybe the baby oil stuff could smell coconut tea? Not? But I hear you guys, thank you for sharing the birthday stream link. Investigators also recovered limited GPS and location data from Letecia's phone. There are crucial time periods such as the evening of January 28, 2020 that investigators were not able to recover location history because Letecia disconnected her phone from the cellular network or turned her phone off. She stored several written notes within her iPhone. The majority of these notes contained what appeared to be usernames, passwords, or insurance information. There were several notes that appeared to reference her unhappiness in her relationship and shed some light on potential household instability. Oh, coffee cake and Swedish fish. What? Yeah, what is with the 2 things? I agree. 2 things. The heck? Letecia's internet activity. Now we're getting into, I know everything was important, but I'm like, whoa, like when they go into these people's internet activity, you're like, what? Her internet activity between January 25th and 29, 2020. I was able to review some, but possibly not all, of the stored internet search history and the websites visited recovered from the forensic physical download and search of Letecia's iPhone. Between the dates of January 25th to 28th, 2020, Letecia viewed websites associated with searching for a job in states other than Colorado, such as Los Angeles, California, Orlando, Florida, Pensacola Beach, Florida, and Fort Lauderdale in Florida. She was wanting to hit Florida quite badly. LA or Florida. Letecia also viewed apartments and 2-bedroom rental properties in Florida. Okay. Wabasa Avenue? No, okay. Additionally, she visited a moving cost calculator website. Like, whoa, she was quite serious about moving at that point, hey? Letecia's internet activity also captured the search for a rental car and visited the website Priceline.com on January 28, 2020 at or about 8:17 hours. I submit this timing is consistent with the acquisition of the Kia Rio mentioned in this affidavit. Letecia appeared to use Google, a popular online search engine. I have included some of her queries, to Google, along with the date and approximate time of the search. Not all of her Google searches are included below, so she did a lot of them. I submit that Letecia's search history is important because the history suggests she may have been struggling as a step-parent and additionally suggests she was not happily married to Mr. Stauch. See items 1, 10, 12, 13, 14. While her search history alone does not provide motive to murder Gannon, it does shed light on her inquisitive thoughts of her position with the family, memorialized in Google's search engine. And here we go. Are we ready for it? Are we ready, everyone? I also direct the court's attention to the way Letecia's search terms are sometimes entered. Letecia hits the key full stop, right, instead of the space key multiple times while searching the internet in approximately 44% of the searches listed below. This will be significant during the discussion of a search conducted on Gannon's phone, as well as was discussed above in paragraphs 40 and will be further discussed below. There are other searches on Letecia's phone that use a full stop. An additional search history over a longer time span does exist that is not listed below. Yeah. Wabasa Avenue. Are you ready? Look at this. Look at this. All right, I'm just leaving it there for a second while I'm catching up here. I wish she had used DuckDuckGo because the affidavit would be more entertaining. Props to the investigators, extensive and detailed, right? Okay, I hope you can see this. It might be slightly blurry, but Google search text string. Have you read it already? I'm sure you're like, what? Find real military singles. Okay, parenting should be 4 people, not 1. I'm overdoing all the work for my stepkids and their mom doesn't help. Weird stuff to Google, right? Mom advice from stepmom. If you aren't involved in your kid's life, you are shitty. Sorry, YouTube. I said a naughty word, YouTube. My husband's ex-wife does nothing for her kids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a card since I raise her kids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a Valentine's card since I raise her kids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a Valentine's card since I raise her kids. Again, Again, look at that. At 1:51 and at 1:52. One day, some people will wish they treated you differently. One day, some people will wish they treated you differently. Why should my husband choose me over family? Find me a rich guy who wants me to take care of his kids. Well, that escalated quickly, Letecia. Yeah, she needed a diary. The Google searches. I know, right? Like, it really escalated quickly. It was like, angry, and then suddenly going, find me a rich guy who wants me to take care of his kids. Find a guy who wants me to take care of his kids and get paid. It's crappy some parents don't care for their kids or buy them presents. Parents are those who put their kids before their nails. Parents are those who put their kids before their nails. My son burnt the carpet. How do I fix it? Will humidifier help if exposed to smoke? Smoke affects will humidifier help. Smoke from the fire affects will humidifier help. Colorado law for kid staying at home. School is out. Is it okay for my kid to stay home alone? Son is sick, but I have to go to work. Son sick. Can he stay home? Who Googles that? I know. Why don't people get a divorce instead of killing people, right? Yeah, she's using Google as a friend. Exactly, Amber. Oh, my word. It's so hectic to see this. So, suede repair list for sofa. Let's just go down a bit. El Paso Sheriff's Office number. What is the process for our runaway child? Police steps for our runaway. Police steps for our missing child. Today's flight. I'm just trying to see where. Oklahoma, I think. To Colorado. My voice is going now. Hold on. Here and there, my voice gives up on me. Can Nintendo find my Switch? Does that say CarNet Volkswagen? They are asking for our son's toothbrush, but said nothing is wrong. She literally Googled that. They are asking for our son's toothbrush, but said nothing's wrong. Okay, so now you guys have seen why I'm like, I need to show you this. Yeah, let's Google that up. Why not get a divorce instead of murdering someone? Thank you, Jill. Letecia's search activity from her iPhone spanning 1/25/2020, 12-16 hours to 1/28/2020, 16-19 hours. Yeah, rough draft of her thought process. I mean, it's very telling. Like, just, wow. The things she's thinking. And they said they didn't include all of it. Investigators were also able to recover internet search history that was deleted from her phone. No time and date association was located with the data, and I can only ascertain that the searches were conducted prior to the EPSO seizing her phone on January 29, 2020. Some, but not all, of the search history is included below. Some of the other deleted search terms included travel planning, shopping, job searches, and other seemingly innocent activity. I have not purposely left out any particular search that would be exculpatory in nature New favorite word. And I'm not intending to portray that all of Letecia's deleted searches were nefarious in nature. Here's her deleted history, okay? Okay, thank you. Shasha. Colorado abolished the death penalty in 2020. Thank you. I was freaking out. What did I do to my sound? You guys can hear, right? Okay, find me a new husband book. I feel like I'm just a nanny, not a stepmom. Husband uses me to babysit his kids. Are there any free money? Like this one. Are there any free money to move away from bad situation? Free money? Whoa, lady. My husband never posts about me, but does everything else. My husband only cleans up for the army and not me. I'm just a glorified babysitter. Find a new husband. Send my husband sexual messages and he ignores them. Make my husband want me more. I feel like my husband uses me to babysit his kid. Find a guy without kids. Unless she was Googling these things on purpose to look crazy just in case she gets caught, right? You never know. She could be that calculated. Yeah, glorified babysitter. Oh, my word. Some deleted internet searches located on Letecia's iPhone. No date information is available. Oh, my word. Letecia Stauch's consciousness of guilt. During the first 24 to 48 hours surrounding the disappearance of a child, it's reasonable that an assumingly innocent parent or step-parent would be contributing to search efforts and fully participating in the effort to recover the child. In the 24 to 48 hours surrounding Gannon's disappearance, Letecia rented a vehicle, turned her cell phone off for approximately 4 hours on the evening of January 28, 2020, washed her Tiguan immediately prior to coming to EPSO for an interview, evaded law enforcement's attempts to conduct a more in-depth interview, and did not participate in the search for Gannon. On Tuesday, January 28, 2020, between 8:48 and 8:54, Letecia instructed Harley to pull your car in the garage via text message, presumably to temporarily cover up any potential evidence left behind. To be clear, Harley has her own vehicle that was mentioned above in paragraph 13, remember? The Jetta, right? Specifically a Volkswagen Jetta. On January 28, 2020, at approximately 16:04 to 1700 hours, investigators asked Letecia for Gannon's toothbrush to recover his DNA. At or about 16:19 hours, Letecia did a search in her internet browser of, they are asking for our son's toothbrush, but said nothing's wrong. Okay. At about 16:31 to 16:33, Letecia has a text conversation with Mr. Stauch saying, something isn't right. I think they're hiding something. He said, who? The police? She said, yes, they asked for toothbrushes. And then he said, what do you think they're hiding? Yeah, she was hiding something. Also, on January 28th, this is funny. Another Google search to do. What should I search for on Google to seem crazy when they subpoena my search history? Right? Do you think she was doing that on purpose, guys? Do you think she could have actually been doing this in a calculated way? The notebook you like is unavailable? Why? Can you imagine her messages to her husband? Oh, my word. Okay, also on January 28, 2020, at about 22:45 hours, Letecia made a statement to investigators via text message. At the time of the statement, Gannon had been missing for approximately 27 hours, and Letecia believed she was a subject in his disappearance without any prior prompting from law enforcement or notification of such. Letecia, what do you want from me? Because I have nothing. One of your very own leaked to me what you guys were doing. I did nothing, and or am being set up. I'm not really even sure, other than being told by another blue with El Paso. I was told I couldn't go home to sleep, and on top of that, men were sent to a home with a minor female, and she was forced to stay there, not to even leave for food. Every conversation that said, even at this moment, I can hear inside, what do you want from me? Whoa. Detective, come in to talk to me. I would just like the information to find Gannon. Wow. She really... It's quite something, huh? After EPSO investigators seized Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan on January 29, 2020, she obtained a 2020 Nissan Altima. Investigators applied for and were granted a search warrant by this court to install a GPS tracker on the vehicle. Investigators monitored the tracking device, which provided particularly useful information on January 31st, 2020. Yeah, 2020. A map with some of this data is included below. This information will be discussed below and relates to the area north of Palmer Lake and along Highway 105 South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. She was trying to frame Google as the culprit, right? The audacity. So, in summary, investigators believe Letecia utilized the rented Nissan Altima to return to the area in which she disposed of Gannon's body. Whoa. So she went there on January 28th and then returned there with a rented car that she didn't know they put a track on January 31st. Right? Yes. In summary, investigators, she utilized that. And indeed, investigators recovered a piece of particle board from this area with Gannon's blood on it. This information will be discussed below in more detail. So you can see the loop she's been doing. The fact that Letecia came back to this area on January 31st is significant, and investigators have not uncovered any evidence that Letecia has family or friends that live in that area. I mean, she's driving around in circles there, or any legitimate reason for her presence in that area other than to dispose of incriminating evidence. I submit a reasonable theory for the fact Letecia returned to this area based on the information presented in this affidavit as follows. Letecia disposed of Gannon's remains at nighttime and likely was nervous about the location she chose and may not have even remembered exactly where she dumped Gannon's remains. Investigators believe that on January 31st, 2020, she went back to the area to view the area while sunlight was available, to ensure no evidence was viewable from the road, to ensure his remains were adequately covered to prevent detection, and to see if any law enforcement was in the area. Just remember that his remains were later found 1,400 miles away, so she had actually gone back there to recollect it and transport it across the country. Like, that is sickening. Wow. I submit a reasonable theory for the fact that, okay, wait, did we see that? Yes, okay, sorry. The exploitation of the Volkswagen Tiguan data. Investigators were able to remove a computer chip from Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan, which was examined by the FBI. The FBI was able to recover data hereinafter raw data, which included, but is not limited to, the estimated location of the vehicle specifically related to the evening of January 28, 2020 and the morning of January 29, 2020. The raw data has not been scientifically evaluated, and the raw data that was provided was not portrayed to be an exact representation of the vehicle's activities. Additionally, I have been told that the raw data has particular limitations, including the inability to show the exact location of the vehicle. For example, if the Tiguan was taken off-road, the raw data may not show that and display the estimated location on the nearest road. Furthermore, the estimated location may have some degree of fluctuation in accuracy, estimated to be approximately 50 to 100 meters. For example, FBI agents, including Special Agent S.A. Donati, took steps to verify and corroborate the data recovered from the Tiguan. In summary, S.A. Donati was able to take some of the raw data, including location and timestamp, and compare it to other evidence. As with other forensic evidence discussed in this affidavit, investigators believe it to be reliable. For example, the Tiguan raw data placed the Tiguan leaving the Colorado Springs airport just after 1900 hours on January 28, 2020. Remember, she picked up her husband in the morning, dropped him off at home, made up a reason of not putting mileage on the car, went back there in the evening, and left around 1900 hours on January 28, 2020. This information matched the timestamp of the January 28, 2020 Colorado Springs Airport parking receipt to the Tiguan data. The Tiguan raw data indicated the Tiguan stopped near a King Soopers parking lot for approximately 10 minutes after leaving the airport, between 8 minutes past 8 in the evening and 18 minutes past 8 in the evening. S.A. Donati was able to review video surveillance footage from that King Soopers, which indeed showed a dark SUV matching the description of the Tiguan sitting in the parking lot during that same time period. Other footage, including video footage from a Wendy's restaurant in a separate location, helped to further corroborate raw data. Yeah, these investigators worked hard, right? We're almost there, guys. Of significant importance, the raw data showed the Tiguan in the area of Highway 105 South Perry Park Road between 21:15 hours and 21:30 on January 28, 2020, and I've included a map depicting that data. The raw data also included the Tiguan stopped for approximately 5 minutes in an area for 5 minutes on my way, approximate to the recovery of Gannon's blood on February 15, 2020. This is the same area Letecia likely drove to in her Nissan Altima rental vehicle on January 31st, 2020. The recovery of Gannon's blood in this area discussed below. I'm not zooming in too much on this because these pictures aren't very clear in this, you know what I mean? So we did some map time already to look at the area sort of. But I mean, you could see just from the arrows alone, just she's like driving around in literal circles. Like, what is she doing? We know, but we don't want to know. She was caught and found out playing stupid little head games to evade accountability. That's what's going to destroy her fairy dust case of insanity. Absolutely. Well said. I like that snarky there. Snark it up, everyone. Investigators were also able to compare Letecia's historical cell site information, including NILOS data, against the Tiguan raw data, and found no reason to believe that Letecia was not the driver of the Tiguan on January 28, 2020. The continued evolution of Letecia's stories. That sounds like a book, right? The continued evolution of Letecia's story. Investigators conducted several consensually monitored telephone calls with Mr. Stauch. Specifically, Mr. Stauch, at the direction of law enforcement, communicated with Letecia via telephone and email. These communications have been recorded and memorialized and consisted of hours of recorded conversation. I will not provide a transcription of these calls, but I will summarize the importance of particular changes in Letecia's story and will also include exculpatory information related to Letecia's statements. Letecia never admitted to killing Gannon. My word. To this day. For the purposes of refreshing the court, here's a summary of some of Letecia's statements, whether to law enforcement, directly through media, and or to Mr. Stauch in recorded email and voice communications. Sorry, just clearing my voice for a second. Wait. So on January 27, 2020, Letecia stated Gannon left to play at a friend's house and did not come home at 1800 hours like he was supposed to. On January 29, 2020, Letecia stated she was held at gunpoint, essayed, and Gannon was abducted by her assaulter. Oh man. Within Letecia's falsehoods, there are details corroborated by physical evidence that would be near impossible to know without being intimately involved in the murder. She made statements to explain blood on the walls in Gannon's bedroom, blood on the rear bumper of the Tiguan, and blood in the garage of the Stauch residence. Details of the location of blood evidence has not been released to the media nor to Letecia and has been closely held throughout this investigation. Furthermore, Letecia has continued to provide alibis for her physical locations, not previously disclosed to investigators. Oh boy. Oh man. Her statements continue to evolve in a dramatic way and are all remarkably different from the original report to EPSO. She's like, I have alibis. And they're like, we didn't even know you were there. Oh my gosh. Yes. The majority of the conversations between Letecia and Albert Stauch began around February 13, 2020. Over several days, Letecia's story continued to change. During a phone call on February 13, 2020, Letecia stated that Gannon was burned by a candle to the point that his skin bubbled, and that Gannon peeled the burns off and wiped blood on his bedroom wall. Wow. Wow, lady. Quite the story she made up there. Mr. Stauch did not ask about blood on the walls of his room during this call. The fact that she provided information about blood on the wall likely indicates her knowledge of the murder scene. On February 14, 2020, Letecia had an additional conversation with Mr. Stauch and provided 4 additional versions of Gannon's disappearance. Story number 1. When EPSO came to the house on January 27, 2020, the abductor was still in her residence, and she tried to signal the EPSO, Whoa, like listen to her story. She tried to signal the EPSO deputies that there was somebody in the residence. It should be noted that EPSO deputies checked the entirety of the house and no additional person was located during that search. That is very scary. Yes, I'm also very interested in the forensics portion of the upcoming trial. Oh, I really hope so, Robert. Life in prison with no possibility of parole. That would be so good. Story number 2. She was essayed by Quincy Brown at her residence, and Brown abducted Gannon. She knew Brown's identity because she saw a paper and his identification card fell out of his pocket that had his name on it. Now she made up a whole other name. Never mind, Eduardo. Okay. Letecia sent a photograph of Quincy Brown to Mr. Stauch via text message. It's noted that this photograph mirrored images online wherein Quincy Brown was listed as a most wanted suspect as discussed below. Story number 3. Quincy Brown followed her from Petco and at some point was laying in the middle of the road in front of her car. When Letecia stopped to avoid running the man over, he jumped into her car and made her take him home. And then he essayed her. Her stories are just like ridiculous. Story number 4. Letecia and Gannon were near County Line Road, Highway 105 in northern El Paso County on January 27, 2020. Gannon was riding a bicycle in that area and fell off, hit his head, and was then abducted by Quincy Brown. Right, in this version of events, Quincy Brown was driven by a man named Terrence. Terrence? Yeah. What? In this version of events, Quincy Brown was driven by a man named Terrence. The February 14, 2020 story number 4 has several interesting considerations. During the period of February 12th to 14th, 2020, it was public knowledge by virtue of media coverage that investigators were searching for Gannon in the area of Highway 105, South Perry Park Road in southern Douglas County, near the El Paso County line. Letecia brought this location up on her own, without prompt during a conversation, and provided an alibi for why she was in that area. Wow. Letecia was adamant that investigators' efforts to search for Gannon in the area would be futile. Of course, you're not going to find anything here. Right. Futile. This area turned out to be significant based on the TIG-1's location on January 28, 2020, and that Gannon's blood was found in this area, discussed below in more detail. Furthermore, as mentioned above, Letecia drove through the same area in her Nissan Altima rental vehicle on January 31st, 2020, so she even went back there. 12 Grizzlies on the jury. Right? Yeah, how many stories? There were 4 total stories from what they listed here. Any more water? Okay, we've got this. Yes, I submit that based on the raw data retrieved from the TIG-1, Letecia was likely in the area of Highway 105 or South Perry Park Road on the evening of January 28, 2020, and Gannon's remains were dumped in the vicinity of that area. Letecia's story lays the foundation for a reason why investigators may locate Gannon's body with head trauma. On February 15, 2020, Letecia provided additional conflicting stories to Mr. Stauch, including that the story she told Albert Stauch about Gannon falling off the bike was a lie because it was what she believed he wanted to hear. Letecia stated the blood in the corner of Gannon's room was a combination of hers and Gannon's. Now listen to this. Here's another story. In this explanation, she stated that the abductor... Now I can't say this word. Can you read it for yourself? Don't type it out. Otherwise it'll be YouTube looking at all... YouTube's sensitive to the stuff, okay? If you want these videos to go absolutely nowhere and for no one to see it, sure. But you know, here. The abductor. Look at this. These words... Both her and Gannon with an object? That's like a whole new story. Additionally, she was tied up at some point in the abduction, and the abductor was still present during the EPSO visit that night. Oh my word. And then Quincy Brown. Quincy Brown, age 37, was listed on El Paso County's most wanted list on February 10, 2020. I was able to locate Brown's photo on KKTV news website, where they describe Brown as a black male. It's noted that during one of her stories, she described her SA person as a Hispanic male. The photo on this website appeared to be the same photo that Letecia sent to Mr. Stauch. Brown has outstanding arrest warrants for failure to register as a SO, and failure to appear. These warrants appear to have been open since 2018. So she actually Googled this person and like, this guy, yeah, okay, most wanted. That's who attacked me. And not just me, but Gannon too. Like, wow. I was able to find a criminal history for Quincy Brown, date of birth 10/21/1981, which included but was not limited to a 2001 arrest for first-degree kidnapping in El Paso County court case 2001 CR 4383, which was pled to felony menacing. Investigators have uncovered no evidence to support that Quincy Brown was involved in Gannon's disappearance. Gannon's blood is located in Douglas County, Colorado on February 15, 2020. Hold on 1 second, please. Okay, blue hearts for Gannon if you guys want to. Right, so Gannon's blood is located in Douglas County, Colorado on February 15, 2020. As mentioned above, investigators began to focus a search effort for Gannon's remains in the area of Highway 105 South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado on February 12, 2020. This is not an exact address to reference due to the rural nature of the area. The particular location was deemed important based on raw data from the Tiguan on January 28, 2020, and the location data from her rental vehicle on January 31st, 2020. Yes, so if you are only here now, if you want to send some blue hearts, blue was Gannon's favorite color, and so blue hearts are our way of showing justice for Gannon. The trial will be coming up, hopefully starting on April 4th, 2022. As mentioned above, okay, wait, I read some of this. Yes, on February 15, 2020, searchers located a piece of particle board during the search. The particle board had a stain that appeared to be consistent with blood and is pictured below. I have added a red circle to indicate the location of the blood stain. The particle board was collected by the FBI Evidence Response Team and transported to the Metro Crime Lab also on February 15, 2020. An initial test revealed a positive presumptive result for the presence of human or high primate blood. Further testing was conducting, and a DNA profile was developed and compared to Gannon's on February 16, 2020. That profile matched the DNA profile of Gannon Stauch and is documented in Metro Crime Lab Report 20MCL00267. Thank you for all the blue hearts. Yes, she did also try to get a fake polygraph test, my goodness. See, they circled it here, but again, we can't see very well. But we can kind of see. My word. The reasonable explanation for the discovery of this particle board with Gannon's blood on it is that Letecia used this particle board during the disposal of Gannon's remains. The area in which the particle board was found is rural, and the ground was covered by approximately 6 to 12 inches of snow. Whoa. Additionally, as the area is rural in nature, it is likely populated by wildlife, including predators such as bear. Now, some of you say coyotes, but coyotes, right? And mountain lions. Gannon's remains have not been located, and while investigators will continue to search the area, it is possible those remains have since been scattered since January 28, 2020. The below map depicts the area where the particle board was recovered, compared with raw data from the Tiguan's location, while idling for approximately 5 minutes on January 28, 2020, and the GPS tracker data from the Nissan Altima on January 31st, 2020. As noted above, the raw data of the Tiguan has an estimated 50 to 100 meter variance. Yeah, this is just not a very clear picture. Huh? Board found, GPS tracker, Tiguan data. Not a very clear picture for us. Wiretap interceptions. Okay, wait. Let me just make sure I'm not missing comments. Everything she did was calculated, deliberate, and intentional, planned out, and covered up. Yes, absolutely. Welcome, Hawkeye Seneca. It's always nice to see new names in the chat. Welcome to everyone who's new to the channel. I hope you enjoy the content. And yeah, when I started my channel, this was one of the first cases that I covered. We did some live streams there, but I'm glad to cover it again, and so glad that a trial is just around the corner. It's been delayed and delayed and delayed, like, oh my word. Please, April 4th, let it be opening statements on that day. We are almost at the end of the document. Additionally, investigators were granted a pen register or trap and trace device order, global positioning system, GPS pings, and cell site sector information. Investigators monitored Letecia's telephone and recorded hours of communication between Stauch and others. Each and every communication intercepted is not included within this affidavit. As during other portions of the investigation, Letecia continued to provide different stories to different people about Gannon's disappearance. Letecia provided false information to her sister and other family members. I mean, she just lied to everyone, right? Good evening from Scotland. Very nice. Hello from the Netherlands. Wow, your first live stream here. That's so nice. As during other portions of the investigation, Letecia continued to provide, as we saw, different stories to different people about Gannon's disappearance. Letecia provided false information to her sister and other family members, during which, then they blanked out something, during which Letecia provided multiple different stories for what happened to Gannon. Several of these stories were discussed above. On a February 16, 2020 call at about 19:28 hours, 7:28 p.m. in the evening, right? Letecia told a female, believed to be Tila Cummings, that she has been giving Al numerous false stories because she knows he will not believe anything she says. Blame Al, shall we? Like, honestly, I've been giving him so many false stories just because he won't believe anything I say. Okay. On a February 17, 2020 call at about 13:53 hours, Letecia told a female, believed to be associated with Laura Abernathy, that she was thinking about flying out to Colorado to take a lie detector test to prove her innocence. During that call, she stated, "They think I'm still in Colorado." All right. On another February 17, 2020 call at about 16:11 hours, Letecia told an unknown female that she's going to take a lie detector test, but that the test is not admissible in court and no law enforcement would be present. Right. On another February 17th call at about 16:11 hours, Letecia told an unknown female, I already read this, but I'm just like, oh. She's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show all these people. I'm going to take a lie. Look there, fake polygraph test. She comes, I think anything that pops up in her mind, she's like, yes, that's a very good idea. There's like no filter. You know what I mean? Oh, man. Thank you so much, CY. Best channel shows empathy for victims and doesn't glamorize the criminals in any way. In fact, we do the opposite with criminals, right? A snarky time, just bring them right back down and don't give them cool names. Thank you so much, Hawkeye Seneca. It's so nice to see you here. I've never seen you here before. It's wonderful to have you here in the Grizzly community. You're like, see what I mean? Exactly. Okay, so let's just look at this. Look at this. Letecia attempted to obtain fake polygraph results. Wow. On a February 18, 2020 call at 10:14 hours, Letecia called 321-247-6876. Can you imagine it? Like, hello. I conducted research on that phone number and learned it was associated with fakepolygraph.com. Hello, I'd like to order one fake polygraph test, please. During that call, Letecia stated she never got a confirmation for a test that she paid for. Again, the victim. It's their fault. Letecia provided the spelling of her name, and before disconnecting the call, the unknown male stated he would resend her the results to her email. She got scammed. I viewed the website fakepolygraph.com and found the following information. Oh, wow. I'm going to have to just see this. Get a fully verified fake polygraph test certificate proving you have taken a real polygraph test. You choose the questions, location, and results. Right? It said location. It's very like this. It looks like text that's just been stamped too hard. I can barely see this. Okay, the fake polygraph results are emailed from a local and real polygraph company. It's like, it's fake, but it's also emailed from a real place. If your partner calls the authentic company, our team will confirm the test details. we are sure they will believe you. We have nationwide real polygraph companies in the following countries: UK, Ireland, Australia, USA, and Canada. Our polygraph reports are 3 to 4 pages and replicate the real reports. The local polygraph company branding and contact details are the fake polygraph test report. The polygraph test results are emailed from a real polygraph company. Okay, yeah, the fact that the site exists is scary. Exactly. Shasha? Am I saying it right? Shasha? Exactly. Fake poly police. Screenshot taken on 02/19/2020 from fakepolygraph.com. Okay, wait. I don't want to get distracted. I was like, let me look up. Okay, I'll look it up after. Okay. Also, on February 18, 2020, at about 11:16 hours, Letecia again called the number. During this call, she inquired about an email that she received. The unknown male stated that her report was blocked by management based on the content of the questions, and stated that without any illegal activities, they reserve the right to not send the report. Letecia's response was the following: "What do you do now? Just delete it and go on about life and keep the money?" The male at fakepolygraph.com: "Yes, we do indeed." Letecia: "Okay, I gotcha. Thank you. Goodbye." Okay then. My word. Yeah, sure. Legit polygraphers supplement the income with fake reports. Hawkeye Seneca says, "Unfortunately, motive can be as simple as resentment and retaliation." I think she even resented, it sounds like it from her Google searches there, Gannon's mother a lot. And her husband, because she's like, "He doesn't give me attention." I don't know, just all sorts. She is a piece of work, this one. Okay. So she said, "Okay, gotcha, goodbye." Investigations contacted Luke Devlin utilizing that phone number that Letecia called. Mr. Devlin provided information to investigators, including the questions and answers that Letecia had provided. Oh boy. Letecia provided the following questions and answers that were supposed to be truthful to fakepolygraph.com. "Do you intend to answer these questions regarding your stepson truthfully?" Yes. "Is your birthday August 4th, 1983? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing harm to your stepson? No. Did your stepson return with you to your home? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson? No." She even freaked out these scammers. "I submit to the court that if Letecia had nothing to hide, she would not have had to pay for fake polygraph results." Whoa. Okay, there's a ton of fake polygraph websites. Yeah. Delusional. Yeah, a fake polygraph site would be the perfect honeypot for the police. Now, conclusion. Based on the data collected by the FBI and reported in the Journal of Forensic Sciences, I learned that in over 71% of homicide cases that involve false reporting, the reporting party is responsible for the murder. 71%. To be clear, this statistic is not being provided as sole probable cause for the requested warrant, but as an additional fact to be combined with the others listed in the affidavit. Just to nail in the coffin, you know? Yes. Yeah, common thread is me, it's all about me. Based on Letecia's internet history, it's reasonable to believe that she was unhappily married to Mr. Stauch and had some degree of resentment towards the family as a step-parent. Furthermore, days before Gannon's murder, Letecia appeared to be researching a move to another state to a 2-bedroom apartment. Letecia has not provided a fully truthful statement to investigators at any point during this investigation, particularly regarding the circumstances of Gannon's disappearance. This would reasonably be suspected activity of an individual that committed the crime under investigation, namely murder. Within approximately 24 hours, Gannon being reported missing, and without external prompt, Letecia made claims to law enforcement that she was being set up. Another sip of water. Initially, Letecia said Gannon was playing with a neighborhood friend between 1500 hours and 1600 hours and was expected to be home at 1800 hours. Within a few days, Letecia changed her story to label herself as a victim of SA, felony menacing with a weapon, and assault, resulting in Gannon's abduction by her SAist. Her stories continue to evolve to include a new location of Gannon's disappearance over 30 miles away, several completely different sets of circumstances, and unprompted explanations for why Gannon's blood would be found by investigators in key locations. She was unable to provide a logical reason why she rented another vehicle while she still had access to the Tiguan. All those miles, you know. My word. Yeah. Exactly. I agree with all of you in the chat. And we take a deep breath as we finish this off, right? Here we go. 3 hours and 20 minutes, overtime. You guys didn't see me live for a while. Now I'm like, yes, here we go. 3.5 hours. My word. I'm just getting to the logical reason. Yes, okay, here we go. A suspected blood sample from the interior of the trunk area returned a negative result for the presumptive presence of blood. Gannon's mattress had a large red stain on it that's consistent with blood. Based on the orientation of the mattress in the room, it appears that is where Gannon's head and upper torso would have been. Below that same area, a substance that was confirmed as blood by the Metro Crime Laboratory soaked through the carpet, the pad, and stained the concrete. This blood matches the DNA profile for Gannon Stauch. In the same area, blood samples taken from the wall, namely an electrical outlet, were also confirmed to match Gannon's DNA profile. Gannon's blood again matched his DNA profile, was also found on a piece of particle board in the area of Highway 105, South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. This particular area is consistent with Letecia's travels on January 28, 2020 and January 31st, 2020 based on GPS tracker locations of her Nissan Altima rental vehicle and raw data from the Tiguan. To think that his remains were found in a suitcase 1,400 miles away 3 weeks later, right? Or was it 3 weeks later? Is very scary to think what she was doing. That she did all this and then went again to fetch him. Oh, it's just shocking. During her stories to Mr. Stauch, without prompt, Letecia provided explanations for why blood would be found on Gannon's bedroom wall. Other than Letecia being present for Gannon's murder and being present for the cleaning of the murder scene, there is no reasonable explanation for how Letecia would know there's blood on Gannon's wall, as that evidence had not been released to the media. Again, without prompt, Letecia provided an alibi for why she was in the area where the particle board was recovered. By combining cell tower data, reviewing video surveillance, and home security system logs, investigators believe, based on the evidence, the only 3 individuals with access to Gannon on the afternoon of January 27, 2020 were Letecia, Harley, and 8-year-old Lena. With the exception of Lena, who is not considered a suspect, it appears nobody other than Letecia was with Gannon at the Stauch residence between the hours of 14:16 and 17:34 hours on January 27, 2020, when investigators suspect that Letecia murdered Gannon. Gannon has been missing for approximately 4 weeks, and there's been national news attention on major networks related to his disappearance. Local efforts, including posters, news coverage, search teams, and social media postings, have also failed to locate Gannon. Aerial assets, infrared, FLIR technology, and other, that's drones, right, and other technology and other extraordinary methods have been deployed to help locate Gannon. Over 200 volunteers have helped to search for Gannon, comprising of thousands of man-hours in several different locations. Additionally, although the EPSO has received hundreds of tips, nobody has provided information that has led to Gannon's location. His family and friends have not heard from him, and Gannon is only 11 years old with no financial resources. Letecia Stauch was the last person to see Gannon alive. Investigators have not located Gannon's remains at this point in time. Thankfully, they did afterwards, right? Although the search continues. As additional time increases without locating Gannon, the more likely it is that Gannon is not alive. Based on the facts set forth above, I submit probable cause exists to believe that on or about January 27, 2020, within the state of Colorado, and within El Paso County, Letecia Stauch committed the offenses in violation of the Colorado revised statutes to include murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust, and then all this other stuff I can't really say, CA resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. Therefore, your affiant is respectfully request the issuance of an arrest warrant charging the same. Okay. And then you guys should, I don't think my voice will make it. There's 5 pages of a freaking letter here that she wrote, just complaining like a baby about not having enough support and not having the right legal team and all of that kind of stuff. So there's that. And just again, if we look at the map, this is the area where the house was in Colorado. And she drove all the way. This was where the Petco was, where she went twice. She drove all the way up here on January 28th after fetching the car at the airport to allegedly dump Gannon's remains here. Went back there on January 31st. And that is scary because on February 1st, that's when she decided, it's time for a road trip, which means that she went back there to pick up his remains. And that was the same day she did an interview. Yeah, at least she didn't dot her I's with hearts. And then she decided to take this long road trip like this and go here to Pensacola. Is it Pensacola, right? Yep, Pensacola. With her daughter, who was 17 at the time. And then dumped Gannon's remains in a suitcase off the bridge here. This is where his remains were found. Yes, and after that she traveled further. She dropped him there and then traveled to South Carolina, hung out in Myrtle Beach, and that's where she was eventually caught. I just want to put this, no man, that one. Okay, wait, I gotta make myself slightly bigger again. Normal size. I just want to quickly get my document going here. Just to go, I want to go over one thing quickly. It was on March 20th, 2020. Gannon's body was found in a suitcase in Pace, Florida, near the Escambia River Bridge, which is 1,400 miles, 2,200 kilometers away from home. Just horrible. They say the suitcase, which had appeared to have been thrown off a bridge, was discovered by bridge inspectors with the Florida Department of Transportation. They saw the body of a child wrapped in a blanket in fetal position and said that the body had badly decomposed. And then DNA evidence confirmed it was Gannon. Shout out to Myrtle Beach. Okay. There was only one other kid in the household. Gannon's sister, 8-year-old Lena. Letecia's daughter, 17, did not live with them at the time, I believe. Yes, investigators are sure that the daughter took the trip with her. So that's a bit hectic, but I don't know if she knew what she was doing, right? So, to recap just one more time, 11-year-old Gannon Stauch was murdered, allegedly, only for now, allegedly we're saying, by his stepmother, Letecia Stauch, on January 27, 2020. She stabbed him 18 times and shot him, then stuffed him in a suitcase and drove 1,400 miles to discard of him from a bridge. She gave a media interview not facing the camera. Rumor has it that she had Gannon's body in the van at the interview. If you want, I could show you that quickly. The bullet found in Gannon's skull had been fired from the same 9mm gun that was found at the home with Letecia. Joshua Tolini is Stauch's lawyer. She's facing a first-degree murder charge amongst other charges. The motive, we don't know what it is, could be resentment. They say she was unhappy in her marriage and looking for an escape. She's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Her next court date is set for March 28th, with a pre-trial hearing on March 17th, but could be postponed due to her third mental health evaluation. These results are expected on March 31st. Judge Gregory Vanner said he's hoping for opening statements on April 4th. 16 jurors and 2 alternates are expected, and people following the case worldwide are known as Gannon's Army. So, Gannon's favorite color was blue. The reason people are sharing blue hearts is because we are all part of Gannon's army. We want justice for Gannon. We want her to have friggin' life imprisonment with no possibility for parole. And I think, wow, wishful thinking that she's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Look at the amount of planning she did. Yes. Okay, so while you guys are there, just hold on. I'm going to find you that interview in a moment. She can escape to prison. So thank you for going through all of that with me. I just want to show you this one thing. Hold on, let's make this bigger and then share the screen, which will be, wait for it, this. This, yes. Okay, let's have a look at this. I just want you to see this for context. Just look at this ridiculous person. This is Letecia doing an interview with her back to the camera.
You are?
I am Letecia Stauch, which is Gannon's stepmother.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats.
I hope you guys can hear this interviewer. The first time that I covered this interview, my word, we were just empathizing with him because he just absolutely hates this interview. You can just tell he's like, oh man, like, you'll see. But how ridiculous is it that she's got her back to the camera? It's friggin' weird.
We counted over 20 some death threats already. Two, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home, and of course I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and in doing the investigation I was told I wasn't complying. And could I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yes. So
she's like, can I elaborate on that? Like, he's like, okay.
I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, you know, said I still wasn't complying or said I was, you know, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
And
Right. So me. I didn't get anything to drink. I didn't get food, except they did. They actually fed her, gave her something to drink. Remember, we read that? Wow. Like, and this woman allegedly murdered, we'll change the allegedly one day. Yeah, okay. Allegedly, this woman allegedly murdered Gannon, an 11-year-old boy. And here she is saying, well, they were just violating my constitutional rights. Like, it's ridiculous.
that's why you say that they said then you weren't cooperating with the investigation.
That's why they said I wasn't cooperating at that time. Correct.
And why did you ask for an attorney at the time?
Well, I asked for an attorney at the time because there was one individual, there was two really good detectives, and so I'm not, going to talk bad about detectives, but the tactics they started to get when I would answer questions, they try to you know, they're detectives. They're supposed to twist. The one main goal is to find Gannon. But during that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable the way they were saying things. So I immediately stopped and felt like an attorney would help me with some of the vocabulary and things like that I needed help with and understanding some of the things that they were asking.
I'm going to shift gears to what has become a huge online presence of people obviously trying to do the right thing, help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have. And see, that's one of the main things we haven't.
Very interesting how she switches to we's all of a sudden. We've actually been listening to this. Who are you talking about now?
Been around in the public eye because I didn't want to expose my family to it if all these things were going on. You know, there was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know, but I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun, and my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse so they could take her car.
And they weren't in there?
They weren't even in her car, in her purse.
And
they were in my pocket.
You originally didn't even know it was the...
To clarify, so Emmy's also says, okay, so her stepson's missing during this interview and she's complaining about herself. And remember, the big shocker is at this moment, this interview was on February 1st, the day she decided this is a good time for a road trip, which means that the white van pictured in this very interview, it's like a high possibility that she had Gannon's remains in the van while she's conducting this interview. That's the shocker of this whole thing as well.
Law enforcement officers?
I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, who's this guy? And then once I realized it was the sheriff's office, I was totally okay, but they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter, asking why she was being detained in handcuffs and things like that, when that shouldn't even happen for a child.
Yes, Care Bear. His body was allegedly in the car right there, right then and there.
Shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here. If we came here and got clothes, we would be harassed. So she went to purchase some underwear and things like that and was put in the handcuffs in the store. And then brought out with men with guns, and that's just not okay. They could have approached me and said, hi, I'm with El Paso County, can I please get this, instead of the way that it happened.
I'm just going to take her shot. Doing great. Well, make sure that we're still good on recording, still can hear you okay.
See, even now she will not turn around. Look at her.
Okay, yeah, sounds like we're good. Every once in a while my mic will give out, and I want to make sure that's not going to happen.
She literally won't even turn. I feel like he was testing that, just hold on a second. I'm just quickly going to go behind you. And she's just standing there.
Here. Okay. I should try and clarify here. Not necessarily crime rates, but the way that people are reacting online to rumors about you with the search.
Oh yes. Wow. The rumors have gotten so bad. I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Gannon is dead. And that's what they're saying. So I'm like, why are you saying Gannon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Gannon. And that's the main goal that we all have. My family has. Just because you haven't seen us, we have that same goal. We've been out searching. My aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we can protect each other.
So that we can protect each other? What about protecting Gannon? I've never heard, obviously not. We know in hindsight, it's just whoa, can't wait for trial. Amber says, can you imagine being this interviewer and looking back at this moment? Right?
How does it feel when not only you have a lost child who you are in care of, but then people blaming you for that child not being there?
I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all...
You see, she said she hopes that all of us basically have a really sincere apology to her for all the theories, for all those red flags that were raised.
All the things they said that I have done or people have done. And I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Gannon. And I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him? I don't know him.
Gannon is so kind, and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario, and you know, he's always helpful, and he was always so helpful with the dogs around the house, and we have 2 little cute dogs, and he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. You know, sometimes with kids we have to remind them and things like that, and that's okay, but he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick and say,
Notice the past tense. I know you all notice it. We're all true crimers over here, but she's talking about him in past tense.
are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said that you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this. But is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? We don't. That just seems like rumors right now.
You know what? Could we bring my daughter up here? Because she can go and say that, you know, she came home from work after the hike, and she can verify that.
Now she's going to use her daughter to try to be her alibi for this hike story.
Gannon was at our home.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me. And if she doesn't want to, that's okay, but you're allowed to
That's fine.
ask her. Sound okay so far?
Yes. I need Harley. Because they want you to verify was Gannon at home after the hike. Because you didn't go to the hike, but you came home from work.
Did you hear how she said it? Remember, you didn't go on a hike because remember, you came back from work. So she's kind of telling her already what to say now, like rehashing the story. Did you hear that? That was crazy. And JC said, I definitely won't apologize to her. And Rochelle Bronzer says, similar to the West boys, exactly. Adopted parents kept interviewing when they knew he was already gone. Same as this one. The nerve, right? Exactly.
Do you want me to just say yes?
No, just answer the question. Yes, you came home from work, and you can verify Gannon was at home. Yeah. I told her she didn't have to be too in-depth because she is still, you know, a child. But I want to make sure that someone knows that there's
I mean, does this seem like someone who can plead not guilty by reason of insanity?
another person to verify that Gannon.
Sure.
Does she need to hold this?
No.
Yes, so I came home later that evening. I was at work, and I can verify that he was there that night.
So there was a hike that you guys went on, but then you guys came home.
Yes.
Where'd you guys go hiking?
Garden of the Gods.
Oh, yes. Okay. I guess when
And then we ate Burger King afterwards, so, you know.
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh man, this guy is repulsed by her. You can just see it. He's like, there you go. He knows. It's like he knows. And it's just, I really wish we could interview him. Hey, if you're this guy and you're watching and you want to be on the show, you're welcome anytime. My word.
And then it just was, I'm going to go to play at a friend's house. And then it was just, I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to like comment on that anymore, and for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted, and you know that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things. We had to hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that, and that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give, I'm not gonna say that part.
That's okay.
Never
That's
mind.
right.
I could take that out.
I understand that it gets tricky with
Yeah.
legal stuff.
Let's just go back a second there.
Hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that, and that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give, I'm not gonna say that part.
That's okay.
Never
That's
mind.
right.
I could take that out.
I understand that it gets tricky with
Yeah.
legal stuff. Do you feel like I asked you what I need to? Do you feel like this is going to help kind of turn the tide of what feels like a witch hunt, in my opinion?
I hope. Am I on camera now?
You are
okay.
still.
Okay. I think that a lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am
She's literally like, oh, the camera's still rolling. He's like, you are still on camera, yes. And hello to Queen Nessie. It's nice to see you here.
being cooperative, but to me it's okay that they think those things because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home because
So basically, she's worried that people will think she hurt Gannon. She didn't say, I would never hurt Gannon. She said, I don't want people to think that I would hurt Gannon.
That's just not the case. I've spent my whole entire life working so hard in education. There was even things online that was talking about my education license and I shouldn't even be a teacher. And they just didn't know that. Like, we moved on a military move and I didn't finish out my contract, so I gave up my license in that state. It had nothing to do with any criminal activity.
It did. It really did.
You know, or any of those things. And it just got blown out of proportion on my professional status, you know. And
Do you feel like these are just internet detectives who think they know what they're doing?
it definitely is. And, you know, here's the thing that kind of saddens me. It's like, if you're going to talk about someone like that and have a witch hunt out for them, why would you even care, like, about doing those things? Because this is a child. You're telling me that you're just as mean, you're just as hateful to talk about someone else like that. That's how I feel. Like, we just should not. We should all come together and wait until the end and see what happens, because Gannon's going to come home.
Wow, we should all come together and wait until the end. And then she realized what she's saying. She's like, because we're going to find Gannon. Oh, it's just horrible.
Any message for Gannon?
The message for Gannon I have is, Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from
Back it up, people. We got to snark it up. Did you hear that? Any message for Gannon? And her message to the little boy that she allegedly murdered is, Gannon, when you get home, you can tell everyone that they were wrong, and they will all sincerely apologize to me. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Let's say, if at this point Gannon was just missing, she's saying when he comes back home, he must stand in front of the world and tell everyone that they were wrong. That is absolutely disgusting. Never mind that we know what actually happened.
everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband. We just wanted to add a message to Gannon from my family, is that we love you and miss you, and we hope that you come home soon. And Gannon, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay.
Oh, fake. Right? That was very fake. My goodness. What a friggin' dirty liar. Oh my word. So if you, I don't know if you've only joined now, then it's like, whoa, hello. What we did was a very long live stream. This would be actually my second longest live stream. I know this is pretty average actually for people on YouTube. They do this like 3-4 hour live stream thing. Wow. But for the mods, thank you for the mods who are still here. Wow. This is, you guys did not know. You're like, oh. This was a long one. What we did was went over the case, all of the bullet points, recapped everything, went over the entire script that I'd written as well. Then we went over the whole affidavit for probable cause for her arrest. And then we went over this interview, and we've gone over it all up to now. So now what we're waiting for is the trial. We need a thriller. Yes, she was a teacher. Yes, Jill, she was a teacher. We need a trial. The trial's coming. Pre-trial hearing March 17th. That's actually the same day. Well, Chazzy Boy is getting sentenced on the 17th or 18th. Pre-trial hearing for Letecia is on March 17th. Her trial was supposed to happen on March 28th, but because she's pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, she needs a whole range of mental evaluations, right? She's had 2 out of 3 already. The third one is happening, and the results are expected by March 31st, which now essentially delays the trial, supposedly. So the judge has said that he's expecting opening statements around April 4th. So we'll keep an eye on when this trial actually happens. But Grizzlies, can we please watch this together when this friggin' woman gets sentenced? Pleading not guilty by reason of insanity? Wow. Whew. So I would hate to be her lawyer. Right. So I hope that you enjoyed today's stream. I hope that you'll have a wonderful afternoon or evening ahead. Time to recharge. Strung up for your birthday party. Exactly, right? I've got to get my gin and tonic ready. Huh? I'll bring some pink gin. Maybe a Dutch pastry. And what else did I say I'm bringing? Fury. For the my ancestry results. That's what I said. I said I might share some of that. Maybe. If I'm too shy, I'll just put it on a Patreon, okay? She doesn't want folks to think she's capable. Yes, I have to rest my voice now. Now I'm very excited to play my outro because I worked hard on it too today. I'm very excited to show it to you. Normally it was the bear. Remember, I like the bear one too. I've still got it. But yes, thank you for being here. If you are new here, then I hope that you will consider becoming part of this fantastic community. If you like the content, all you got to do is subscribe. Well, obviously, you don't have to do that. You could just come back and watch another video. But it'll be really nice if you subscribed, if you hit that thumbs up, leave your DNA on the thumbs up button, and comment below. That'll be great too. And share this episode if you can on Twitter. Find me on Twitter. I've got all my socials linked up there as well. I've got PayPal and Patreon and TikTok and Twitter and Instagram. You could find me on all of those. And I hope that you enjoy the merch and the notebooks and the everything, that you enjoyed the episode. And I will see you for the next live stream on Wednesday, the 9th of March, which is my birthday. I'll be turning 38 years old on Wednesday, and not 100% sure what I'm doing on the day because there's just a lot of options. And honestly, I just feel like it's far. There's a few places I want to go, but I'm like, it's far. So I'll probably just be around here. And so I'll see you in the evening. For me, it's daytime. For you, okay? For most of you, it's daytime. Thank you so much for being here with me. This is the waffle time you always get at the end of live streams, the overtime every time, as if we haven't gone overtime enough already, where I just talk and I have no idea how to say goodbye because I don't like saying goodbye. Yes, pink gin. Pink gin and tonic. Yes. Thank you so much for the early birthday wishes. I really appreciate every single one of you. I can see you guys have hit that like button. Wait. What? Before I go, let's just end the poll, right? Where's my channel? I just want to turn off the sound. Yeah, otherwise I'm going to hear myself. Wait, we got to end this poll now. Let's see what you guys said. Do you think Letecia will win her insanity plea? 62% said not a chance, no way. 18% said eek, maybe. Whoa. Okay, 17% now. 4% said I think she will, unfortunately. And 17% said, who's Letecia? Well, I hope after this episode, now you know who Letecia is. Worst stepmother ever. Okay, there's actually some pretty bad ones. But she's pretty bad, right? Dance time. Okay. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next live stream. And yeah, if my voice can hold it tomorrow, who knows? I might see you tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll see you on Wednesday, okay? So let's do this one.